You're listening to BL in the Air. My name is Chy.
And I'm Alex.
And this is my cat Sylvester, if you're watching and
Hi,
you're wondering who
Sylvester.
this is.
Welcome to the show.
um, yeah, he's a big BL fan, actually. Today we're going to be continuing with our discussion on Jack and Joker. We're going to be going through the second part of the show where we left off last time. But before we get into that, Alex, what's in the air with you?
So I was sick for the last few days, so I had time to binge, right? Which was good for me. And I watched Battle of the Writers, which is a Tudor Yim show.
Yeah. What did you think? I really want to watch that one.
So I really enjoyed it. There's parts of the plot that just don't make any sense. Like there was episode 1, there's like a really big issue that happens. And it's mentioned, I think, in episode 2, and then I don't think it's mentioned again for like several episodes, but it's not that it's solved, they just move on.
Okay, just
So
put
there's
a pin in it.
right. So there's a little bit you gotta let go, but it's fine because honestly it's a fun show because it's about writers, right? Obviously with the name title, but they're writing like I'm gonna butcher this because I don't speak Chinese, so forgive me for any Chinese speakers we have. But it's got wuxia like mixed into it because that's what they're writing. So they're like there's scenes where like they're acting that out, like which is really cool. Especially since I don't know that we get
do the
BL.
authors
Yeah.
do the authors act as like their characters then in their fantasy world?
No, so they're like group writing a novel, and it's very YN.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't know that it was intentionally YN, but it is YN, and like by the end like it's obvious like everyone's kind of accepted it's YN. But yeah, it was a fun watch. I for the weird plot moments that don't make sense, I really enjoyed it. Normally when something goes off the rails with the plot, I'm like over it. But
Yeah.
no, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. The things I've seen about this show, I'm like, it seems like a good time. I probably would like it a lot.
Yeah. The only thing, so like people are talking about like how like spicy it is, and I'll say towards the end got a lot of NC scenes. But they're all like, yeah, what happens in episode 4? I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, nothing happened in episode 4. Like, what are you talking about? So I don't know if I watched the same episode 4 as everybody.
Is there like a uncut version?
I watched the uncut version.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I don't know
I feel
either.
like there's been a couple shows too where they'll talk about how spicy the scene is, and I'm just like, yeah, it's like moderate.
Yeah, I'm like, it's okay. Yeah, that was an NC scene. Cool. Yeah, no, the later ones definitely like they're not 4 minutes, but maybe not that far off.
Okay.
Right. So last year was like heavy on the spice because the Battle of the Writers came out last year.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was another summer show. Went from July to October. So
Yeah, I can't believe it slipped under my radar for that long.
yeah, I remember when it came out, and I don't know if I just wasn't in the mood to like deal with writers or something because I was like I saw it and I was like whatever, and like moved on with life. And I was like, it keeps popping up. I was like, fine, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
So definitely a recommend, especially since I know you like the wuxia stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
It sounds interesting. I don't see a lot of. You said some of it's like dubbed.
Yeah. Okay.
Too?
So
like.
First, there's really random dubbing, and it took me a while. I was like, is my audio off or is it actually dubbed? But one of the actors is just Chinese, like just straight up. He's just Chinese. He's not Thai.
Okay. So they dub his audio to Thai?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
I see.
Because he's supposed to be speaking Thai, right? But also like I think it was either episode 1 or episode 2 where like there's characters just having a conversation in Chinese that like for no reason. Because
Okay.
like they have a conversation in Chinese and then it comes up like for a minute later where somebody's like, "Can you speak a language I understand?" And then after that, I don't know that it ever comes up again.
I guess either maybe they're trying to do a nod to like how Chinese dramas are dubbed,
Yeah.
or they just didn't have any Chinese speakers on set that day and they just like were like, yeah, we'll just do it in post.
I have no idea because like
Mm.
some of it feels dubbed, but it's like the Thai actors in the show that are dubbed. I don't entirely know. Like I don't
Okay.
and then after a while because since I don't speak Thai or like Mandarin or whatever, like it took me a minute to catch that it was Mandarin. I was like this sounds familiar but not the right familiar. Um so then I
Uh-huh.
think a lot of the like the wuxia side of it is also dubbed because like where I caught the dubbing was not on that side first. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the first time I watched like a Chinese drama, I was like 10 episodes in, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Wait a minute. I had to look up if it was dubbed cuz like one character like didn't match her voice." And then I was like, "Oh my god, they're all dubbed."
Yeah.
It was like culture shock for me.
Yeah. So if you're unfamiliar with Chinese dramas, for those listening, most of them, if not all of them, are dubbed because of accents and like that because China has so many different accents and dialects that they go with like a standard one. So like bigger actors will have like a set person who does all their dubbing for them. But
Mhm.
then they dub pretty much everything just to fit that one. Just because otherwise they'd have a lot less actors.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always interesting too, like if I'm watching a Thai show that like, for example, like Tale of a Thousand Stars, because it takes place in the north
Hmm.
where they have a different like dialect.
Yeah.
And I was watching behind the scenes, and like some of the like the actors that they have, like Drake and everyone, like
Hmm.
they were from the north. And
Yeah.
then there was like I think Cao he's not, and so they were like trying to
Hmm.
teach him like how to speak with the dialect, because I think Cao was like, "Oh, I don't like they told me that I can just speak like normally, whatever. It's like not that big of a deal in the show." But
Yeah.
he's like, "But I got here and like the vibe was that I should definitely like learn
That's really funny.
the accent." So it's interesting for me because it's like I can't pick up on
Yeah.
any sort of accent difference or whatever, but it's curious to see how like different shows and different countries kind of deal with that like barrier.
Yeah. Because Love Sea was like that too. Because like Fort's
Yeah.
character was speaking a different dialect there for a while, but he switches like they make that a
Uh
point in
huh.
the show that he switches, right? That he goes to like a more like standardized accent. But
Mhm.
the this because he was speaking a southern dialect because he was down near Pattaya. Um, but that was also not his regular. He had to learn that one.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, as someone
God.
uneducated, I want to say they said he did a really good job with it. So,
Uh, I'm terrible with accents. I couldn't give you a single one.
oh no, I can't either. Like this, what I've got is what I got, and like I don't even have my
Mhm.
own accent. Like I grew up in South Mississippi. I do not sound like I grew up in like deep South Mississippi.
No, I feel like you have a pretty standard
Yeah,
American accent.
yeah. Like
Do
I like
you do you pick up an accent on me sometimes? Because I know some words I definitely say really weird.
every once in a while there's like a word, but like that's the same for
Mhm.
me. Like I know there's certain words like Saul. Like there's like a an L at the end of Saul for me. Um,
Wait, what?
like
What are
like
you saying?
like Saul like SAW like
Oh,
Saul
okay.
like I saw
Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay. I
So
definitely hear the L very
yeah.
strongly.
So I try to tone it down if I think about it, but I
Uh-huh.
can't like I haven't been able to like completely drop like the drawl at the end of like certain words. Um
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so
funny cuz I'm from like northern Wisconsin and now I live in southern Wisconsin where they don't have the Wisconsin accent. They have more like Chicago. And so people all the time will make fun of me for my Wisconsin accent and I'm like, "Bro, we are in Wisconsin." Like you're you're the phony, you're the fake one like
that's
but
hilarious.
yeah, I think since moving like 7 years ago or whatever, my accent's gone like a lot. It's definitely a lot more subtle. And whereas like I sometimes I go back home and I'll like bring a friend with me or something who's not from there and they're just like, "Oh my god, why is everyone speaking like this?"
Yeah, I actually think my accent got heavier when I moved to Georgia cuz
Mm.
and I didn't have like a really heavy accent in Mississippi already.
Uh-huh.
And then like I've bounced around like North Carolina, Arizona, whatever, and like accent stayed pretty close to the same. And then I don't know what it is about living in Georgia, but like maybe not right now, but like if I'm not thinking about it, like my accent comes out so heavy, and I'm just like, I've stopped where I've been like, what did I just say?
No, yeah. It's definitely like when if you're surrounded by people, like when I visit my like family and like my grandparents and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I definitely, because they have such like a
Mm-hmm.
heavier accent. I'm like, I just start speaking that way too.
Yeah, I think that's part of why I don't have such a heavy accent. One, I moved around a lot as a kid. Um,
Yeah.
like Mississippi is where I stayed the longest, so it's home for me. But like
Mhm.
my mom's from Europe, so she has a European accent, and my dad's
Mhm.
from Maryland. So, um,
Yeah.
between like them and like military life for my dad being in the army,
Mhm.
I was never really around like a lot of really heavy Southern accents until like well after my accent that I have was established.
Yeah. Right.
So I think as a kid, the bigger tell was always like, I'm fixing to do something or whatever, like stuff like that, or
Oh.
ain't, stuff I don't
Yeah.
use anymore. Um,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, no, doing like an accent for a show could never. Like,
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's they have accent coaches, right? So like, I'm sure I could learn it if I had to, but I would feel like such an imposter.
I know I would need someone with that accent to say every line, like the line first, and
Hmm.
then I could copy it. But there's no way I could like procure it up just naturally.
Oh, what was I watching where that's what somebody said they did? Oh, I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it was a show or I have no memory of what it was now, but there was somebody they I think it was because whatever the script was, they couldn't read the language or something like that. Like they could speak it, but they couldn't read it, but they also didn't have the pronunciation right, so they had to get like their manager to like record them saying every line so that they could mimic their like manager say that. Who? What was that?
Yeah.
It was literally like a week ago.
Was it a Thai show?
I don't remember. I
Mm.
I'm blinking right now, but that definitely like recently happened where they were like like they didn't know the language well enough to have like the pronunciation.
I mean, this seems like the system I would use at least.
Yeah, I mean it makes a lot
Like
of sense.
something to go off of.
Yeah, because that's like honestly like speaking is what I'm most terrified of with learning Thai. Just because
Uh,
it's so tonal, right? Um,
yeah.
I did get my book though, so we'll be learning
Oh,
Thai soon.
nice.
Yeah,
Me too. I also have my book to learn Thai,
yeah,
but
I got the same one you did.
yeah, this one. It's called Read Thai in 10 days. I don't know if anyone has used this. Let us know your thoughts. I
Yeah,
started day 1 and then I like ran out of time and I forgot everything I learned. So I'm like, okay, I need to find 10 days where I can like keep going with this.
yeah.
So,
'Cause-
not sponsored by the way.
No,
Just
if you want to
I was just
sponsor us,
recommended on Reddit and I was like, "Oh, works for me."
yeah, that's because I know we had talked about it, and then I kept seeing it pop up on Reddit too. Because I would love
Mhm.
something like Duolingo to like give us Thai. Because
Uh-huh.
I forget who. I don't know. It's not Lingo Deer. It's I think Rosetta
I think
Stone has Thai, but like apparently it hasn't
okay.
been updated in like 10, 15 years. And they're like there's not a
Oh.
demand for it, so we're not going to touch it. And there's only like the first like whatever levels of it cuz most of their other languages go like way more into it, and so there's not a whole lot of material. Um
I believe Mango has Thai,
yeah.
which I get through my library card,
Oh, nice.
but I don't know how good it is or anything, but I do know. I'm after I learn how to like read, I think I might go there next cuz it
Mhm.
should just be free to me.
Yeah,
Also, I googled mango Thai and then it just brought up regular mangoes. I was like, oops.
nice. Yeah, I want to get an actual tutor eventually.
Mhm.
I need things to settle down a little bit first.
Yeah, you can get Tutor and Yim to teach you. Sorry.
That was a good one.
Thank you. It wasn't,
Yeah,
but I appreciate it.
I love the cheesy, the low hanging fruit. Um,
I the low hanging mangoes.
yeah, I don't know that I could take somebody that attractive teaching me. I need somebody like normal looking.
I know.
I
No, I
get
agree.
distracted where I'm like, oh, you're pretty.
Yeah, no, you have to. Although maybe if they're pretty though, you'll focus even more on what they're saying.
No, because I'm gonna focus on their features. I know how this
That's
goes.
true.
This is why I own a guitar.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I've been there. It
Yeah.
doesn't work for me. I've
Oh,
watched this week.
my bad. We went on
Really quick.
18 minutes. Yeah. What's in there with you,
Yeah.
Chai?
No, I don't even. I won't go too deep into these, but I watched two Japanese BLs. I watched Jack Frost,
Mm-hmm.
which is like an amnesia one where like a couple they like break up and then one of them storms out and then he gets in an accident and he like loses his memories of like the breakup and of his boyfriend and stuff. So um I thought that one was really good.
That was messy, is what that was.
It was definitely messy, but I thought it was like I thought it was so cute. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think with something like that it's easy to make it kind of like it's easy to like take advantage of a person.
Mm-hmm.
And like
He kind of
I
does. But,
understand the
like, yeah.
motivations of the people. Like I don't think I thought it was well executed for
Yeah.
the most part.
I would say it's problematic what he did, but, like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like, it's,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to, like, it's fine is bad, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then I watched End of the World with You, which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It's like pre-apocalyptic basically where like it's announced that this giant meteor is about to hit the earth in like 10 days or something. And so the world's going to end, everyone's going to die. So it's kind of everyone like preparing for the apocalypse. And I thought it was just fantastic. Like I loved it.
Yeah, I'm glad you watched that one. That one is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, I know. It kind of reminds me there's a book called They Both Die in the End,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a gay romance book too, but like you start the book and it's like yeah, the two main characters are like gonna die at the end. But then the whole book you're like, are they gonna? Like what's gonna happen? So,
Oh, that
yeah.
sounds like my kind of book. Just trauma of, like, stressing over
Yeah.
these characters.
I remember liking it. It was older, so it's been many years since I've read it, but
Mm-hmm.
like it was like I think I like read it on the bus one time and
Nice.
I enjoyed it. So, and it kind of slightly reminded me of this just in the sense of it's like gay romance and they're going to die. So,
Yeah, there's something to be said about knowing that the world's gonna end in 10 days.
mhm.
Um,
I
I
mean, it's kind of a free for all at that point.
yeah, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably go home to my mom, but, like,
Yeah.
I also might just drag her to, like, go do something interesting, you know?
I know. Yeah, maybe I just go to like a beach or something.
Right? Like,
And
why am I gonna go to, like, small town Mississippi? Like, let's go to
yeah.
Pensacola or something.
Yeah, right? That's probably what I would do
Yeah, I
if
can
I
tell you
had the
right now, I
gas
would.
to make it.
Yeah, I would not be going to work. Um,
No. No.
like, sorry.
No point. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've watched
Yeah,
the last week. So
yeah. There's some really good Japanese BLs out there. Oh,
I know, and right now they're not really making any,
I know. I need them to get back on it.
which
There's the one
is
that's airing right now, right? Or I guess
I don't even know if any are airing right now. Since When It
no.
Rains It Pours ended, I know there's been
That's
kind of a drought.
yeah, but that okay. Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of because of the post. Because
Uh,
the four highest rated BLs of 2025.
mhm.
When it rains, it pours is one of them. Um,
Yeah, I know when that one ended, they were like for the first time in like forever. There's no JBLs airing, and I
yeah,
don't even know if there are any still, and it's been like a month.
yeah. I don't know of any either. I haven't seen anything. Um,
Yeah.
it's kind of a lull for like everyone besides Ty right now, really. Um,
I know, yeah, I know like Secret Romance, which is Korean,
yeah. So they,
has been airing. I don't know if it's done yet, but
yeah, I'm not sure either.
mhm.
But it's nonstop on the Ty. They're just
Mhm.
everybody has got so many coming out, and there's so many that are like starting soon too. Because we have
Uh-huh.
the next Prince and Pit Babe season 2 both starting first weekend in May.
That's so soon. It's crazy.
Yeah, I just that's having those back to back every weekend because one's on like the second and the other one's on the third, so that's probably like what Friday and Saturday I think.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Oh
be an
God.
interesting weekend.
It
Yeah.
really is. It's gonna be two very different shows, and I'm excited for both of them.
I'm okay. I'm not sure that I'm excited about Pit Babe.
I'm okay. The thing about Pit Babe is like, do I love the show? No. Am I obsessed with it? Yes.
Okay, that's
Did
fair.
I enjoy it? I don't even think so. But I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time at this point talking about it. Our
Yeah.
our like gossip episode or whatever we called that episode was basically just because we wanted to talk about Pit Babe. Um,
Yeah. It fascinates me. And so I am
yeah.
excited to see what they do this second season. The only way I will be disappointed is if it's boring.
I just if it's all car and that's it, like I don't
Yeah,
care
then
about the
it'll be
car,
boring.
right? Because I will say they might have done this intentionally, but all the photos from all the different cues, everybody was always in the stupid racing outfit every
I know.
single
It does
time,
look like it's just racing.
right? And I'm like, okay, so we weren't getting photos from every cue, I don't think, and they're, selective. So like maybe they're hiding what else is going on because we didn't really see much of like Nut's character, like whatever's going on there, and so
I
I'm
hope
like,
they're just hiding from the author.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Um, because I need them to keep like because they didn't go deep into the Omegaverse anyway. I need them to keep some semblance of it.
Hmm.
Like I don't need Mpreg. Like we don't have to go that far into it, right? But like to keep some and not just be like, oh yeah, Babe just has random like power. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I need them to not make women just there for
Hmm.
pregnancy.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna introduce that as a plot point, I need you to add in female characters that, right?
I
Like
know.
like I don't want it period, but like if that's going to happen, then I need a balance.
It's either going to be great or it's going to be a train wreck.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
it's going to be a boring racing show with nothing else.
either
And
way we'll
that's
cover
the
it.
one where I'll be disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even if I'm mad, I'm just gonna hate watch it and have a good time. Um
Yeah, I agree.
because
So I
I'll
am looking forward to it, but
yeah. Yeah.
I'm not like optimistic.
Yeah. Cuz as much as I'm concerned for the show, I will say I love Pavel, right? I love Nut.
Mhm.
I love everybody on the show. So I'm like, at least I get to see everyone again.
It's true, yeah.
Cause like
I
it's
haven't seen most of them in like anything recently.
yeah. Um, cause you did you watch Long Beans?
No, not
Okay.
even. Was excited for it and then I just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah. So Garfield and Benz, I think, those side characters. I need them to
Mhm.
have their own show. Their chemistry is
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay.
Like they, for
Maybe
me, they
they'll have
stole
more of
that
a
one.
role
Yeah.
in
So
Pit Babe.
maybe.
Maybe they'll be in love in Pit Babe.
Well, that would be interesting.
That would be wild.
Yeah, that's. I mean, they could make it work, I guess. Um.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, maybe we'll get some more from Change after this because I know Pavel said they're gonna go straight into his second show with Pooh, the cop one.
Yeah.
So that should be. I don't know if they're done filming it, Babe. I don't think they are. I think I saw Q49 like yesterday. Um, but they're close to being done since we have a release date. Um,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, as soon as that's done, they're gonna go into the whatever the name of the cop show is. Um,
Mhm.
so we have that, and then maybe we'll get Nut Show eventually, the one with the harem.
That one's gonna get Uju Bakeried.
Yeah, I think so too.
I have fear.
I mean,
Which
Uju
is
Bakery
sad, but
filmed, so that one that's just lost media.
that's
So
true.
so Nuts
That
doesn't even make
one's
it that far.
that's true. Yeah.
So somebody asked Jeff about Uju Bakery the other day, and he just sighed.
I
I was
saw
like,
that.
I was like, oh, okay, that tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah. It's like, damn. Yeah, we're never getting that one.
No, we can just go ahead and stop asking if all he's gonna do is sigh, because that we're
Yeah.
not getting it.
That's an answer in itself.
Yeah, but I mean, he's working on happy endings, so And I saw today that Barcode was talking about how he's gonna be in it still, so because I know that was a little bit of a question with him signing with GMM, but
Right.
GMM I don't think is super strict on you have to only do GMM shows. It's just easier.
Yeah. Right.
So, and I'm sure there's no way Barcode was gonna sign a contract with GMM and then be like, but I'm not gonna do my show with Jeff now. Like, sure,
Yeah.
that was gonna be in the contract of you have to let me do this.
Yeah. That it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So,
Well, should we talk about Jack and Joker?
yeah. Um. Okay. So, as a refresher of where we left off, Jack paid off all of his debt and he quit his job working for Boss as a debt collector. And Grandma collapsed at the house.
uh,
And that is
of course.
quite literally where we left. Everything was great for like 5 seconds.
Mhm.
Um, so episode 7, Grandma's in the hospital, as expected. And which means Jack's immediately in debt because like hospital bills are expensive. Apparently, I
Mhm.
didn't think they were that expensive in Thailand, but I guess for somebody who has no money, any kind of bill is expensive. Um,
Yeah. I'm
so
sure like comparatively too, like
yeah,
bills
so
there are probably expensive for people who live there, but
yeah,
especially if it's like, you know,
yeah. I
if you're
mean,
in their situation as
yeah.
like Jack is.
Yeah, I was looking at it from the American side. I'm like, the numbers I've seen haven't been that bad, but also I do understand that when like the school that they want to start is not going to make them money for a while, right? So like they're going to be in debt from dealing with that, and now they have medical
Mhm.
bills because God knows what she needs.
Yeah.
And so Jack is like freaking out because he's going to go back in debt, and okay, so Joke's dad is a doctor. So I don't know that it ever really gets explained until like this moment. Um, and so Joke goes to his dad as at the hospital and is like begging him for help, and his dad just goes, "I don't know who this is," and walks away.
Ugh.
And that's the
Yeah,
first.
I mean, it isn't a good like way to meet each other again. Like
Yeah, because this is the
if you've
first time
had
they've seen
no
each other.
contact.
Yeah, since the day that
Yeah,
Joke got arrested, this is the first time they've seen each other.
it is. And you don't want to like go back and see your family for the first time in years and the first thing you do is like ask them for help, you know? Like
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, but also like I don't know. If I had a family member that I like my mom or something that I had a falling out with, right? Where we were
mhm.
like and she came to me the way Joke came to like his dad and was like, "I need your help." I would at least hear it out. You know?
Yeah.
Like especially when he's not coming going, "Hey, I need money." He's going, "I need you to do
Mhm.
your job specifically for this
Right.
person," right? So
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, "Okay, dad's kind of a douchebag."
He is. I do think he's is kind of just a bit distrustful cuz
Yeah. Like I mean,
he's
I get it.
probably yeah, he's like, "Oh, it's Joke's back and he's up to like scamming people again or whatever. Like I just
Mhm.
don't want to get involved with that. Like especially
Yeah.
if my job is on the line, but yeah, it's not like he's asking for money. So,
Yeah,
like
I
the least you can do is like be like, "Hey, son,
yeah. I
like how's your life now?"
I think the bad move for Joke was like coming up to him while there's like nurses and stuff around too, right? Like if he'd have
Yeah.
came up to him like alone, maybe they
Mhm.
I don't think the conversation would have gone well anyway because later they have a one-on-one that doesn't go well.
Yeah.
But
I
but
think
I
a lot of it is like pride and
yeah,
stuff and
for
like
sure.
not and like image, you know, cuz like there's people around it's like you don't, you know, I don't want to like it's kind of disgraceful, you know.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
so there's a lot of that going on and it's like okay, like really I don't blame his dad for like not hearing him out because there's a lot of baggage with that, but also
mhm.
I don't know. I also don't like that he didn't go see him in prison for 5 years, you know? Um,
Yeah. Yeah, that is sad.
right. Especially when like watching joke like his dad literally like before everything came out when he saw like the Joker do something, he was like, "Yeah, he's doing a good thing." And then it's like, "Oh, but it's my son, never mind."
Yeah.
It's a good thing when it's
I,
somebody else's son. Um,
right. They
so,
can go disappoint their own family, but not mine.
right. So, I don't know. I at this point I'm not a big fan of dad. Um
Mhm. Same. Yeah.
So, but an even worse person, boss shows up at the hospital, and Jack immediately asks to go back to work. He's like,
No, Jack.
right? He's like, I know I
Don't
just
do
quit, but
it.
like, can I come back? And and Jack gets a raise. He's instead of just a debt collector, he now gets to fill in the role of adoptive son.
Yeah, this part did piss me off. I guess they'll have a little argument about it next, but like I know the economy is shit, but like there wasn't any other job you could have taken. Like I'm sure it wouldn't have paid nearly as well, but like man, like you just got out of this like horrible cycle.
Yeah, I so okay. So Jack and Joke, oops, both both do this thing of to making moves first without talking to anybody. Both of them do this, right?
Yeah. Oh, and it pisses me off. Just talk to each other.
Right? And that's the thing that kind of comes out of it later is both of you need to stop trying to do things solo to fix it for yourselves
Mhm.
or each other, right? Like
Yeah.
Jack's trying to fix his own problems without asking for help, and Joke's trying to fix Jack's problem without talking to Jack about
Yeah.
it. And it screws everything up constantly.
I know.
So, and that's where I think for Jack to go straight to boss was it's something he knew he can do and that he
Mhm.
knew that like yeah, he's going to immediately go back in debt and have to do all this, but like he can, right? So he doesn't have to
Yeah.
go try and as what amounts to an unskilled worker at this point because what do you put on
Mhm.
your resume, right?
I was a debt collector.
Right? Like he's
It's
a
okay.
high school dropout. Like he didn't finish
Yeah.
school, and then he was a debt collector for a mob type dude for 5 years.
Mhm.
like
I know.
like it's kind of hard to put anything on a resume like that. Um,
God, I wish he would have just talked to Joke about this
yeah,
before he agreed, but
especially
like
because
I feel like they could have maybe figured something out if they like worked together, but like it makes sense why he decided to do this. It's just like frustrating for me.
yeah, it's this is all boss's conniving plan bullshit.
Yeah.
To come in as the hero, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so frustrating that Jack does this, but also like I see where it comes from. Um,
Yeah.
so
And also, yeah, I think I cut you off before too, but he becomes the boss's adoptive son and he has to marry Rose,
yeah, so that's
which is like I understand if you're desperate for money and stuff, but that's also where I'm just like, okay, that's a lot to give away for this.
yeah,
Like I know
so
it's your grandma, but like, you know.
that's the only family he's had for a long time.
Mhm.
So like I get it, like,
Mhm.
but like he knows he's giving up Joke, right? Because that's like they're not together at this point, but like those feelings are there, right? They just haven't
Yeah.
talked about it. It's very unspoken between them at this point of like how close they are. Um,
Mhm.
which is where things get a little confusing with how like the rest of this goes. But yeah, so he agrees to marry Rose. Um, he's got to get her on board too, which is a pain. Um,
Yeah.
so but also Jack. So this is where I got a little confused when I was watching this. Because
Mhm.
back in the previous episode when Jack like goes to get the money and figure out if he needs a loan to go get the school and all of that, Save is the like the banker he went to, so his friend is Save. And so he Save had him like invest whatever extra money he had, and I'm like, where did all the money come from? Because
I guess it was just the money he's like saved up over time. I don't
I
know.
don't know because it's like I don't know if I wonder if it's from playing the game, maybe. No, because that comes
Maybe.
later. He plays the game later. So,
Uh
yeah, that hasn't
yeah, I
happened
don't
yet.
know.
Um,
Whatever money they did have, I guess.
yeah, they got money. So Save's like, yeah, you should invest it in this, whatever. It won't be touchable for a while, but whatever. And then Jack calls him after all this, and I was like, hey, is there any way, whatever? And Save's like, actually, your investment is gone. Like something happened, the economy, something, whatever, money gone. So whatever savings he did have is now doesn't exist. Um,
Sure, save.
Yeah.
That's likely story.
Yeah. So up until this point, Save has been like not super shady.
Yeah.
This is kind of the first sign that maybe something's up. Other than the fact that he's dating Hope,
Yeah.
which that kid being named Hope is hilarious to me because that kid is an asshole. I love him. He's one of my favorite characters, but he's an asshole.
It's also funny to have a banker named Save,
Yeah.
and he just loses all your money.
Right? I'm like, you didn't save very well, did you?
Yeah, I should call you Lose instead.
Mm-hmm. So, so then this scene breaks me so
Mm-hmm.
much because Jack tells Joke like what he did, like that he is now the adoptive son. He went back to Boss and whatever, and they have a very very emotional argument. And like in that at one point they're like forehead to forehead while they're talking of like it's not like a like an explosive one. It's just it's very heavy and like so they're forehead to forehead and Jack is like asking Joke like if you can accept that he becomes a crime lord because um it sounds silly to say but it's like such a moment for me
Mm-hmm.
because like him becoming like the adoptive son that's kind of like that's the track he's on now is you know being groomed basically to like take over the business or like if he has to marry Rose, her dad's not any better. um
Mm-hmm.
so this is all that and so Joke says yes. He can accept that. Which I think Joke is so down bad at this point that he's gonna follow Jack off a cliff, right?
Yeah.
It's whatever Jack wants, Jack's gonna get. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so they have that moment and then they hug, and that's where I'm like, they're acting like they're still together, but Jack is now tentatively engaged to a woman.
Yeah, but it's like fake, you know?
Yeah, so it's one of those. I'm like, is Joke gonna be like the mistress here? Is that what we're doing?
I guess so.
His
I don't know.
my if this is how this would play out, I would assume that Jack takes over the quote unquote family business and he marries Rose and they have their kids and do whatever, but then like Joke is like the right hand man. And
Yeah.
then they're also technically actually together because Jack is has no feelings for Rose outside of friendship.
See,
Like,
this is why it's just a stupid plan to agree to, because it's just never gonna work.
right? None of this is gonna work out.
No.
Like, my brain would be like, okay, I marry her long enough to appease everybody, get the hell out of all of this,
Also,
divorce her.
Rose is like not that stupid.
No, and honestly, like for she's such a nice person.
She is.
Like she gets
She's a
so
bit out of
screwed.
touch, but she's like
Yeah,
nice.
right. She means well. Like honestly, for like
Yeah.
who she grew up around, like she came out pretty okay. She just
Mhm.
when you grow up rich and you don't understand poor, you know,
Mhm.
there's it's a learning curve. But
Yeah.
I have no ill will towards her. I'll say.
Yeah. Me too.
So we have that, and then Jack and Boss go to somebody's house. I don't know, some rich person's house, and that's where Jack and Rose meet up again. And
Mhm.
Rose finds out that she's supposed to marry Jack now, right? And she's
Mhm.
actually really happy about it because like she's literally been into him since the first time they met like 5 years ago at the bar thing where she almost got kidnapped. Um,
Mhm.
but then we meet Lomplan. I guess I'd probably butcher that. I don't know how you say his name. I hate this kid, so I don't care. And he's like, I think it's his house they're at. And he's like walking down the stairs, and he's so like dirty and whatever, and like doesn't care about anything. And he's like walks up and is like, "Hey, soon to be fiance," like to Rose. And it's like, wait a second,
Oh.
okay, now we have a love triangle, but why do we have a love triangle?
Yeah, right.
And then,
I
and
love
then,
how they just keep introducing like new characters. It'll be like episode 7, whatever. Like,
oh
okay,
yeah,
new people.
oh yeah, we're about to meet a whole bunch of people all at once.
Yeah.
and and so that's we go in from this random introduction of this long plan like fiance guy, and we go over
Mhm.
into this other room, and now we're playing a board game, and it's not just any board game. So we have
It's
now
Monopoly.
Yeah, it's Monopoly, but it's with real places. So
Uh-huh.
where this board game is with the four horsemen. So it's like the four people that like control everything on the crime side, right? So in the end, they own most of the areas where people have debt. So they're the debtors. I get is that it or is debtors the one that owe? I don't remember, but they're
Mm.
like the ones that they have like their areas of like this is where I collect from and like this is my
Mhm.
apartment complex because like everyone that like boss like has like loans with they all live in like the same area like most of them are all
Mhm.
in like the same apartment building
Yeah,
like
I mean, I think he probably like owns the whole building and stuff.
yeah so he owns that building but it's like that's so they just kind of bounce around like apartment like getting their money they owe
Mhm.
um and but he's not one of the four horsemen. He would like to be one of the four horsemen but he is not powerful enough for that. So somehow he got invited to this and I think that's partially by getting Jack to agree to be Rose's fiance.
Mhm.
Um, also like that I wrote finance instead of fiance.
He is kind of the finance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the
Yeah.
finance. Um, but so with that, that's now he gets to play the board game with the four horsemen. And this
Mhm.
is his first time, and it goes terribly.
Mhm.
Um, by the end of it, he's not allowed to collect rent from his apartment building for 3 months. So he's out a ton of money, basically, is what's happened. Because what happens in game has to happen in real life.
Mhm.
So, that's like if like people are losing properties, they're actually losing those properties and stuff like that. Um,
It's so ridiculous.
yeah,
All of the games that they play in the show are just so ridiculous.
it's very Squid Games in that sense, you know.
It's yeah, this is kind of the part in the show where like not that I dislike it, but it does get more Squid Games from here on out, whereas I kind of preferred that the first half of the show was more realistic,
Yeah.
and then this half of the show is a little bit more like dramatic.
So you're saying there aren't a bunch of rich people playing with poor people's lives?
Well, no, okay, so I like that. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to be like,
Yeah.
okay, these like rich people, like this is all a game to them, whereas like, for the poor characters that we know, like they're struggling every single day. And so like, they're trying to make it seem so just like flippant on the
Yeah.
rich person end. And the Monopoly one is I'm fine with some of the other games we get to. I'm like, this is just stupid.
Yeah, the next game, I think it's the next game. It doesn't make any
Uh-huh.
sense to me.
No, me neither.
So this one at least makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And I do really like this scene. I was kind of shocked when I saw this at first because this is when you realize that Boss is kind of not as powerful as he seems to be.
yeah.
Like this whole show he's like the most powerful person that like we've met, whatever. He's
Hmm.
in charge of this mob essentially. And then we get to this part and we're like, "Oh no, he's like child's play
Hmm.
compared to like these other people." To the point where like he seemed like such like a rich, powerful man, but he compared to these other people, like he's like nothing compared to them. So I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
Boss has layers."
Yeah, he's definitely you can tell he feels out of place during this game like when it's first
Mhm.
starting and he's very unsure of himself where up until this point he's been very confident. And so
Mhm.
yeah, you definitely see like a character shift for him. Like one that makes sense, of course, but um yeah,
He's
it
like
was
desperate, which we
hmm
haven't seen before.
yeah. And that's why so after he like drastically loses this game with all this rent and whatever, he like corners Jack and he's like, "You have to marry her. That's the only way out of this because it's like you need to like woo her so that she can renegotiate this rent thing by the end of the month because he's like, I can't go 3 months without getting money."
Mhm. Yeah.
And Jack's like, "Okay, got it," because he's literally got him by like the scruff of his collar, right? And he's like
Uh-huh.
stressed, and Jack's like, "Whatever I got to do, please don't hurt me."
Mhm.
Um, and so this begins our era of Jack spending days with Rose constantly.
Mhm.
Um, so like they go and Rose, so that's she's so nice, right? So she drags Jack around, who becomes basically her bodyguard, is what this comes out to
Mhm.
because he's like chauffeuring around and like there to protect her, but also like she just sees honestly she treats him like an equal, right? Like she doesn't see like the power balance between them. Um
Mhm.
and so like Jack and Rose are like working with kids and doing whatever. She does a lot of charity work. Like um that's just what she wants to do. And Joke is like lurking in the background. Um like watching Jack and Rose like spend time together, and Joke is not happy about it. So then he
Mhm.
just like straight up ghosts Jack. I think they're supposed to like get dinner together or something like that. And Joke like goes and gets drunk with people instead.
Mhm.
Uh
I honestly, I feel it. I'm also this sort of petty, you know. It's like, okay, well, if you're gonna agree to marry this girl without talking to me, then like, fuck you. I'm not talking to you.
yeah, it's one of those I'm like, okay, that's why like when they had that argument like afterwards where they ended up like will you you know still be here
Uh-huh.
and handle like if I'm a crime lord or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, but what are we doing about you being married? Like
Yeah.
I need some clarity on where you and I stand. Are we like cuz technically at this point they're still just friends, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, okay, are
Yeah,
we
that's
just
probably why they
friends?
didn't like talk about it, cause like,
Yeah.
you know.
I I would definitely like I think I would have to like say that I need some time like to like ghost. Like I would say it cuz
Yeah.
that is my Aquarius energy coming out where I'm going to tell you when I'm going to ghost you. Um
Oh, yeah.
I'm
I
like
would just full on petty, just like, I'm
see,
gonna make you figure out what you need to do to, to
see
bring me back.
the thing I don't know that if I was Joke, I don't know that I'd be mad. Right? If I was mad
Mm.
about it, then yeah, I'm ghosting and I'm not telling you about it. But for me this would be more devastating than anger. Like
Mhm.
I would be destroyed if I hadn't defined anything, but I knew what my feelings were for Jack, and I thought they were mutual, and now doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I
I mean, it
would
could
be
just be
destroyed.
like trying to separate yourself, you know,
Right? That's
like
why I would
create
be
some
like,
space to get out.
which is why I'd be like, I'm gonna vanish for a while. I will come back, but I need to cope.
Yeah.
I need a process that we're never gonna happen.
Yeah.
um, and then after that, I'll be here to support you. Which I think Jack needs that more than anything, but I don't know that I could give that.
Yeah, I'd be like, I wouldn't come back to support. I'd be like, well, you chose to marry this girl, so I'm out. But
Yeah.
it's hard because Joke is like a part of their family now, like,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Which is why like I don't like I if I wouldn't be able to just completely like go off grid and like go wherever and move on with life. Like I would definitely come back, but I would need a few days at a minimum.
yeah. I mean, Joke has like no one else now,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I don't know what you do at that point cuz like his own family
Mhm.
doesn't care about him and or at
Yeah.
least dad. We haven't talked to the rest of the family. Dad doesn't
Uh-huh.
want anything to do with him. Um and like the only friends he has are like, you know, everyone that's around him right now.
Mhm.
And the guy he's pining over is now engaged to a rich mob daughter.
Great.
So, yeah, there's a whole lot of everything.
Mhm.
Um so yeah, joke ghosting for a day, I think justified.
Mhm.
And so the day after all of this, or I guess a couple days, whatever, Rose is like again over like in the neighborhood where like Jack and Joke and all of them live, and she has like this big announcement that she's gonna do some charity thing, whatever, where it's like everyone can come with like their um innovative idea or whatever, and she'll like fund their project or whatever if they like it, some type of a thing, right?
Mhm.
And Joke shows up and he's big mad, so he just comes in and causing problems. And has
Yes.
to literally get dragged out of the event. And Jack's just standing there like, the fuck is happening?
Uh-huh. I love it. Act out, you know.
Yeah, I I don't know. I again, not the approach I would have taken. I would still be ghosting because I would still
Oh,
be processing.
it's nothing logical. It's just like
No.
pure like I feel this so
Yeah.
hard. Like it's just a
And
stupid thing to do, but like I get it.
yeah, cuz he's like angry about her like throwing money, whatever, something like that, like whatever. Um
Mhm.
his anger, but it's that's not what he's really angry about, right? Like
No.
he's angry that Jack is getting close to Rose because it's the closer they get, the more he loses, like Joke loses Jack, right?
Yeah.
Because I think Joke is also concerned that Jack is actually gonna have feelings for Rose, and then like it's
Mhm.
over, right? There is no being a
Yeah.
side piece.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, problem is the boss finds out about what happened, right? And is like,
Mhm.
Jack has to cut ties with Joke. Like that's it. Um, and and
Oh.
Jack agrees. Jack, please. Um,
Jack, please stop being a fool.
yeah. I mean, I get it because it's all in the end, it's all for his grandmother, right? Like I get it,
Yeah.
but
Logically it makes sense, but this is a romance show, damn it, and I want romance.
yeah. So I don't know if you've caught on, guys, but we're nearing the end of episode 7, and there hasn't been a whole lot of actual romance.
Uh-huh.
um, Yin and War very open about how they wanted to make a show, and then honestly, the romance was like a side thing. Um,
Mhm.
there's definitely like there's the tension there. It's very
Mhm.
slow burn, right?
I love slow
Yeah.
burn.
This is my favorite slow burn because there's enough other stuff going on that is stressful, but you have those moments where you can see they're closer, like when they had that argument, and it's like, will you still be around if I'm a crime lord? And just the way that went, and those moments where I'm like, okay, there's
Yeah.
there's my like little like buds of like romance coming.
Mhm.
So Jack, of course, so he agrees to cut ties, and then boss goes to save. So here's your next red flag. And
Mhm.
boss tells Save to keep an eye on Joke. So
Mhm.
great. Why Save working for boss?
He's a good little lapdog.
Yeah. Again, I know his reasoning, but I hate it.
Yeah.
Um. So then Jack and Joke get into an argument that night, and Joke just leaves. And he's like, I'm gonna go stay at the hospital with Grandma because she's still there.
Yeah.
Because she's not getting any better at this point.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so Joke leaves, and so I guess Jack gets his cut ties.
Mhm.
Jerk.
Yes.
I get it. I get it. Honestly, honestly, I think part of that too. The risk is also, I wouldn't put it past boss to like take Joke out,
Uh-huh. It's
right?
true.
Right. So like, there's layers to why Jack is doing this.
It's just frustrating cuz it's like us as the audience and like joke too. I think we're like, okay, like you knew this was going to happen when you agreed to work with him again. Like it's just kind of like why did you think it was going to be better this time? Like it's only just going to continue to complicate things. It's just like a frustration of
Mhm.
like it things are the way it just like the thought of like what if we did something different and you know didn't have to deal with this.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely one of those moments where Joke is like, why didn't we talk first?
Yeah. Like it's just
Um,
domino effect.
mhm. But it's the problem is they both do this shit. So,
They do. Yeah, you can't it's not just Jack at
No,
all.
no. It's just right now it's Jack. But we'll get
Yeah.
to Joke.
He'll do something stupid by himself next.
Yeah, because it's Joke. Um so Rose and Jack go to Lone Plan's house again because he's called Rose over there and Jack is lapdog at this point. So, Lone Plan wants to talk about the wedding that he's supposed to have with Rose. Jose's like, so about that, I want to cancel it. And Lone Plan's like, no. And then eventually he's like, fine, if we play one of the Four Horsemen games to settle things, I'll let you cancel it if you win.
Oh my god.
And then so they're talking it through. It's some I don't remember what they call the game, whatever. It didn't make any sense in the name. It wasn't like it didn't translate to anything like Monopoly, right? Um
Uh-huh.
so Lone Plan's like, actually, I want Jack to play instead of Rose for this. Um Rose knows what's happening. Jack doesn't know, but Jack agrees
Mm-mm.
anyway. Um and so Jack has now agreed to play some game. He doesn't know. And he does like
Never if a rich person asks you to play some game with them, never accept.
especially when the last time that this group of people played a game, it was for like real property. So,
Yeah.
um, like there's all kinds of like stipulations with it too. I didn't get into too much with the nuts because it's stuff like, um, I forget if Lumpland wins what he gets out of it, but like if Jack wins, then like Lumpland has to grant him one wish and has to treat him like an equal, and I forget what the third one was. So there's each of them have like three on either side for that, but also like wedding gets canceled,
Mhm.
or not, and so we have the setup for that, and like Long Plan is unhinged, right? So he's got these maids
Mhm.
dressed up in like hardcore like maid outfits and heels, and they can't move or do anything or like even sneeze. Like I think one of them sneezes and gets fired immediately, type of a thing, and he's like disheveled, and so he's just not great people.
No.
And there's a lot of tension anytime he's in the room. Like I don't know who the actor is that plays him, but he does tension so well because like he'll just be standing there and I still feel like tense. I'm like, because you don't know what he's gonna do at any given moment.
Mhm.
So in the meantime, Joke is playing costume again. Um, so he's now dressed up as a doctor and he's sneaking around the hospital. Um, and immediately gets caught by like a nurse. And the way he
Mhm.
gets caught too is because he's wearing like a lab coat that belongs to like a woman.
Uh-huh.
So, because it's got like whatever in Thai that like, would denote like a female doctor. And he gets saved by his brother, who is also a doctor at this point. So, at least one of the siblings actually went into the family business. Um,
Yeah.
and his brother's like, "Oh yeah, don't mind this guy. He's new, and he keeps grabbing the wrong lab coat. It's fine." And the nurse is like, "Okay, whatever." And then his brother like drags him over to their dad's office, and his dad's not there. Um, and like they're talking about it, and like the dad has like the room stocked with like the specific like instant noodles that Jack or the Joke really likes. So
Mhm.
like there's some family bonding there, and his brother's like, "You should come home sometime. Everyone misses you, whatever." Like, sure they do, right?
Sure.
I don't believe that.
Seems like it.
Yeah. Last time I saw Dad, he said he didn't know who I was, so he
Yeah.
definitely misses me, right? Um,
Yeah, right.
so yeah, so they do that, and then we have Jack and Lone Plan playing this game, and it's not going well for Jack. So I don't understand this game. It's almost like not shoots and ladders, but you're just like on like a normal path with like a bunch of squares, and you're having to like hit a button to like roll a dice. Like it's all digital,
Mhm.
because they're in like a movie theater type of a room. Um, and they're
It's just
in
like random.
yeah, and it's like you hit a button and you roll and you go onto like a tile and like whatever like the random stuff happens on different tiles where it's like you have to make A or B decisions on and sometimes you gain money and sometimes you lose money and like you can't go bankrupt but you also have to make it to the end of the thing and like I forget like crazy stuff can happen. I don't know. And but it's I also don't understand how they make decisions because they were all just hitting like the same button in between them, but it was like
I don't
doing
know.
different things.
This game is it truly doesn't make sense. It's also truly not important, I feel. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Just know that Jack is
it's
not
something
doing
where it's
well.
like you yeah, you just can't think too hard about it cuz it doesn't really make sense. But
Yeah. So they're playing and things aren't going well. Um
yeah.
and so while that's happening, we're back to Tattoo and Aran who are going to present some invention that Tattoo has cuz that's like he's constantly inventing stuff, right? Cuz
Mhm.
he did the purse, the electrocution purse, and he also I don't even remember if we maybe we haven't got that far. I don't remember. So he's got all kinds of stuff. Like that's like the one thing he's good at is like inventing stuff, but it doesn't always go to plan. So, Ning, who is like the The she's always with Rose, and she's the it's not a temple. It's the shrine. She's like head of like
Mm-hmm.
what a shrine. So she's the one who's like vetting the different like projects for Rose. And so they go to do their presentation, but it does not go well at all either for them because
Aw.
it was some sort of contraption or whatever to keep birds out of like a garden or something like that. But the
Mm-hmm.
Nang was like, okay, but what about the bugs? That's like a bigger issue, and also it was like a noise thing, and it was like they don't have ears, so
Yeah.
and so
It's
it
like
was
Shark Tank.
yeah, it was very much like that. And so that doesn't go well for them either, and their project is not accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're back to Jack playing his game with Lone Plan, and suddenly he gets some good luck. And he catches up to Lone Plan, and something happens where Lone Plan actually loses all of his money, like in-game money, and Jack wins, like in the final stretch, right? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what is important about this game though is that Lone Plan didn't explain everything about the game. And what it is there were two people that were betting on either of them to win. Um, and then based on like the game was actually called Heaven's Ladder, not whatever they called it. Um, which Heaven's Ladder
Mm-hmm.
still doesn't mean anything to me, right? Um, and so one wins and one loses now. And the one that wins gets all the money that like gets a matching amount of the money, I guess. That like Jack ended up with like in game. Because I don't think he gets the money because that wasn't part of the deal.
No.
So she gets the money. The other person has to get ends up having to like pay an exorbitant amount of money and give up a kidney, which is insane. Um, and so the winner was Jenny, who I still don't. I think is her name. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so O played by Jenny. Jenny will just forever be Jenny to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like very clearly different characters in every show I've seen her in. Um, but I just love Jenny.
Yeah.
So O wins and she gets all her money and all like I think all her debt is paid. Like she's doing great now. The one that loses is Tattoo's mom. Uh, so
Ugh.
I think they work it out to where instead of a kidney, she could also just pay off $100,000 because I guess that's what a kidney is worth. Um, so she has to give up all the money she does have saved. Um,
Yeah.
which Tattoo and her have saved up secretly like a ton of money, so they do have to give that up. Um, and so Jack and Joker meet again because they're like with Tattoo's mom. They like go race over there separately. They both end up over there and with Tattoo as well. And everyone's like, "Holy shit, what is happening right now?"
Mm-hmm.
Because Tattoo's mom is, rightfully freaking out, but also shouldn't have made the bet.
I know.
I don't.
It's like once again I get why they did this because they show like, if you have nothing then you're more likely to engage in like risky like
Yeah,
risky things where
it's
you could like lose way more than it seems logical.
yeah.
But like I don't like this episode. I just hate
No.
that stupid game. I don't know like I don't know why, but it just feels like cheesy.
Yeah, it's very Squid Games again, right?
It is so
Um,
Squid
it's
Games.
it's very Squid Games.
Yeah,
Um,
I think this is the part where I'm just like, oh, I kind of miss it when it was like reflecting more of like the experience to be poor as opposed to having these like metaphorical games about what it's like to be poor.
yeah. I'll say the games don't come up again for a while after this. So
Yeah, thank
it's
God. But they when they do, it's like worse. Even it's just even stupider.
yeah. There's one game I have a big complaint with.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sure it's the same complaint. Um,
Uh huh. Absolutely.
but after they get the debt collectors, whatever, to kind of back off, Jack and Joke argue again over what Jack has now done. Um,
Mhm.
because like if he didn't play the game, then Tattoo's mom also wouldn't owe a kidney now. Like, are you kidding me?
But it's like he didn't know.
No, he didn't. But also, like, he had have known that, like, wait,
Mhm.
like like okay, the game was already high stakes for him, but like come
Mhm.
on, like
I know.
so Joke is again ignoring Jack and he goes back to the hospital to be with grandma. And he has this moment where he also has cooked for his dad and he brings his dad food since he saw he was only eating those instant noodles. And
Mhm.
this is where he tries the one-on-one of you're in your office and it's just the two of us and he tries to ask for help again and it doesn't go well yet again. Um they
Uh,
basically just argue and Joke's just like fine, bye.
mhm.
Um and then the scene hurt me. Jack and Rose go to the
Mhm.
one token bar in the whole city again. Um and they're
Uh.
having such a cute date and it makes me so upset. Cuz they're like drinking together and then they start like dancing and they're like slow dancing or whatever and Jack's, having a good time because Rose's
Mhm.
not a bad person.
I know. I think I like them together as like friends.
Yeah, no, Friends is fine. This
Mhm.
moment is not giving Friends, right?
No.
And Hoy, for whatever reason, sees them and then he films them and sends the video to like a group chat with like Tattoo and Aran and Joke, I think. And
Yeah.
Joke doesn't take it well, of course.
No. I guess
Um
I mean at this time they don't know what's kind of going on
yeah.
between
Hoy
them, so
doesn't
I don't
know.
think he
So,
really. He
yeah.
was just like, "Oh my god, our look at what our bro is doing. He's on a date with
Yeah.
this rich lady."
Yeah, like he didn't know what was going on between Jack and Joke either. So like it's
Yeah.
like I'm not faulting him. This is all in Jack and Rose like for doing
Yeah.
this. But like my heart broke for Joke.
Uh-huh.
So, but we flash back real quick to Joke's dad alone in his office, and he is actually softening. He didn't show it to Jack, but he eats or not Jack, Joke. Um, writing the notes for this and keeping their names straight was so hard for me.
I know. It's so hard having a show where their names are just like so similar.
Yeah. So Joke's dad eats the food that Joke brought him, and then he asks somebody for the files on Grandma so that he can go check on her. And all she does is sing his praises of like how good Joke is.
Aw.
And you can
Grandma.
see, yeah, it's like she's so sweet. And you can see Joke
Mhm.
being like, or Joke's dad being like, my kid?
Yeah.
Um, and she's like,
Cuz I guess to him he's probably his image of Joke is probably just more he's someone who doesn't care about anyone but himself, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
He's
just
selfish.
cuz
He's thoughtless. He's no good. All he does is steal
mhm.
and whatever. Like Joke didn't set himself up to have a good image. So like,
No.
again, I get it. I get it. But also like, okay, at least Grandma's there to be like, bruh.
Yeah. And the dad kind of alienated him from being able to see like he just didn't because he was like beforehand he was like pressuring Joke to do all these things and was
hmm
disappointed with him regardless, and so like it makes
Yeah.
sense that he didn't see this side of Joke
hmm
because he didn't really like position himself to like be an accepting father for the most part.
Yeah. So again, I do get it. Like I understand it, but
Mm-hmm.
that's why we're here with Grandma. Grandma who's rooting for Joke at all given moments in life. Like the
Yeah.
way she just like accepted him as just another son, right? Like just
Mm-hmm.
immediately was like, yeah, sure, you're
Yeah.
great. um. So yeah. So we see Dad stuff going on with Dad. So we're cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's now taking care of Grandma, so that's a good sign. Um. And then Rose also just randomly has Grandma's room upgraded from like a regular room to like a VIP room. Um, brings in like all kinds of like furniture and whatever, like super uncomfortable furniture though. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Boss also shows up and he's got more medicine. So, um, but actually, Joke's dad had told her not to take any of whatever medicine Boss was giving her because he'd been like bringing it, I think, this entire time to whatever. Um, and Joke's dad was like, "Yeah, you don't need that. What we've got will cover everything. You're good." And so,
Yeah, thank God.
yeah, Boss is not happy about this, but
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's fine.
So you know something's off there.
Yeah, and he like throws away the medication like in the garbage, and Grandma, you could see, is like, What?"
Yeah.
So, but that night, Jack and Joke both stay the night in the hospital, and they argue again. Um, that's all they do anymore
Mhm.
is argue. Like anytime they're together, it's just arguments.
Yeah.
They're like, and it's about Rose without bluntly saying it's about Rose, because Joke is like laying on the uncomfortable couch, and Jack is like laying in a bed that Rose had brought up so that he would have a bed, like a mattress on a floor, not like a fancy bed, whatever. And they're like arguing because Joke's like, yeah, we have to use this stuff because Rose brought it, whatever, such an eye roll moment. And Jack's like, can you stop talking about her? Like, I don't want to think about this.
Yeah. The teasing.
Yeah, and like they're arguing, and Grandma just out of nowhere interrupts, and it scares the shit out of them. It's so funny. Um, and like at this point, Jack knew that they had like a really good doctor looking after Grandma, but did not realize that it was a joke that got his dad to show up, because his dad is a really good
Mhm.
doctor, right? He thought it was, I think it was Boss. He thought Boss was the one that did it.
Or he thought it was Rose.
It
I
was,
don't
yeah, it was Rose.
remember.
It was Rose. Cause
Okay.
yeah, and and his grandma was the one that spilled the beans. That it was like, no, actually it was Joke. And Jack
Yeah.
was like, what? No, it was Boss. It was Boss. That's what I wrote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Never
yeah.
mind.
Um, and Jack was like, what? So things are a little mended at this point, and they actually do end up sharing the bed, which is like a twin size bed, like it, or like maybe a full. I think it's a twin. Honestly, it's so small.
Mhm.
Um, and they end up spooning, and like Jack and Joke, because Joke still isn't like super happy about anything. Like he refuses to just share the blanket with Jack. He's like, you can have the blanket. I'm just gonna lay on this mattress, whatever. And and like Joke is just not having it, and he like made some comment about whatever being a friend, and Jack just straight up goes, "You're not a friend." And you can see where like Joke like tenses up of like, "What?" And Jack goes, "You're family." And then that's my heart, I can't take it.
Mhm.
So, but that's where at this point like Jack turns around, so he's like spooning Joke, and he's like, "Since you're not going to take the blanket, I'm going to do this."
Mhm.
And then Grandma's like laying in bed grinning because she's still like hardcore shipping whatever's happening.
I love her.
I do too. Anytime she could see them like having a moment and she's just grinning off on the side is so funny to me.
Yeah, she's their biggest shipper.
She is. I love it. I love a supportive
Mhm.
grandmother. Um
Yeah.
so that's episode 8. we we end with some hope of them mending their relationship, whatever it ends up as, because up in episode 8 was just them arguing the entire time. Um
Mhm.
and 7. Anytime they were together, it was just arguing.
Yeah.
So episode 9 though, Grandma gets to come home. Um, which if you haven't pieced together is because she's off the stupid medication that Boss was giving her that was making her sick.
My
Um,
God.
yep. So she's home. So she's still got to take it easy, but it's fine. And it's actually she's coming home on Jack's birthday, which is fantastic.
Mhm.
And everybody's over, to celebrate. So it's Joke and Tattoo and everyone. I love that Iran has just become part of this group.
Yeah, he's also just kind of joined himself up.
Yeah, he's another one who, he's a loser. He doesn't have anyone else. Same as,
Mhm.
Joke. That's if they get kicked out of this group, they have nobody. So,
Boss has just traded one son for the other.
yeah, that's got to sting, but also like he doesn't ever hold it against Jack,
Yeah.
which
I
is good for
mean,
him.
he'd probably be like, yeah, I'm better off without that loser.
No, I mean, it doesn't take him long to be like, I miss my dad.
Yeah, that's true.
He's family's important to him even if his dad treats him like shit.
Mhm.
So yeah, so everybody's excited to celebrate Jack's birthday, and then Rose calls and is like, "Hey, you want to come over?" And so the plan is Jack will come hang out with her for a while, but then he'll be back, and so Joke's like, "Yeah, I'll wait for you." Um, so yeah, um, and then we see Rose is talking with Ning. about how to celebrate Jack's birthday because of course she knows. And they're like,
Mhm.
what if we throw him a dinner party and then Rose, you can propose to him, because she's now free to get engaged, to not Lumplan or whatever his name was. Um,
Guys, this is too fast. Don't
this,
get engaged to someone you haven't even kissed yet.
but that's the thing, they skip that because it's an arranged marriage is what this is. Um,
Yeah.
it just,
But like you arranged it yourself kind of.
I mean,
So,
it was kind of decided by Boss and Rose's dad, and it was just because Jack is not Boss's biological son, he had to kind of like convince him,
uh
So there's
but she
that.
turned down a whole other man for this, like,
Yeah, because she was
you
down bad.
know.
She's been down bad for Jack for 5 years, so
Yeah.
um, and honestly, between Jack and Lone Plan, Jack is the gold star.
But it's like they already hang out every day. Like you might as well, like, they're effectively dating even if
Yeah,
it was arranged. Like you might as well, like, at least see if you're compatible first.
yeah. I mean, Jack doesn't have a say, right? Like
Uh-uh.
he doesn't have a say. Like he's doing this because he has to, not because he wants to. Rose has a
Yeah.
say, but again, I think she's just been so down bad for 5 years. Even though um at some point it's mentioned like after she almost got kidnapped, like that thing that happened 5 years ago, she goes abroad for a while. So that's why like they haven't seen each other in like most of that 5 years. Um,
Uh-huh.
so like she's been like hot for Jack, but hasn't actually like she met him for 5 minutes.
I know.
So yeah, she's just spontaneous, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so. They're also both so young. It's like
Yeah. I don't know how
you
old
guys are
Rose would
crazy.
be, but Jack would be like 23 right now, 24, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I assume turning 24 is what I would guess. And Joke is a little older because he was already in college. Um, so he's probably like later 20s, I would say.
Yeah, it's just
So,
like I know, like, being rich and stuff changes things when it comes to marriage, but like
yeah.
it's just like absurd to me that,
Oh,
like,
same.
really you're gonna get engaged to this guy you barely know, and also you're like 23 and you're beautiful, and it's like it's too soon, girl. Pump the brakes.
You gotta keep in mind that it's not just that she's rich, she's like mob boss daughter.
Yeah,
So I don't know exactly how much say she has because I don't think she had the say in Long Plan either.
that's true.
I don't know who would pick that monster.
I don't know either.
So, like, I
She's probably
think,
just like, yeah, I gotta get engaged and married to this man who I do like before my dad sets me up with some another
yeah,
weirdo.
I think it's one of those of first it was you have to marry Long Plan, and then it's now you have options. You can pick which one,
Yeah, she's like,
right?
I'll take this one. I'll lock him down real quick.
Yeah, and so, yeah, so her plan is to propose to Jack that night, right? And then so she leaves to go, go hang out with Jack since she's called him to meet up. And then
Hmm.
Hoy comes out of nowhere and Nang, so he is living in the shrine right now.
Hmm.
So cuz I think we talked about that last episode, right, where he's now Ning's like chauffeur. Um
Yeah.
so he comes and Nang is like, "Hey, I'm going to give you these four tarot cards and I need you to give them specific, like the specific cards to Joke, Tattoo, Aran, and one is yours." Um,
Hmm.
right? And Hoy is kind of an idiot, so he doesn't understand anything that's happening. He's just excited to get a tarot card.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. And I don't remember what the cards were. They don't. It doesn't really matter. I know Joke was like the jokester, and like outside of that, I don't remember anything. It's not the important part. um, So then Jack is having like tea time with Rose where she's like it's so funny because it's he's such a bodyguard, right? So she's sitting at the table, drinking her tea or whatever outside and he's literally standing behind her like, he's not sitting. I don't think he's sitting with her. I think he's just standing there as bodyguard mode, right?
Yeah.
Um And she's like talking about whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, actually I have a question to ask you. Um so do you mind if I leave early today?" She's like, I have some plans later, right? Like, it doesn't make a
Uh-huh.
fuss of like what it is. Just like, if you don't mind if I could like not be your bodyguard today, that'd be great.
Mhm.
And Rose is okay. This is like the one thing she does that actually bothers me. She's so dramatic. She's like, "Yeah, that's fine." Right? Like, sure, not a big deal. If you want to leave because you got other stuff to do, go do it. And then immediately pulls out her phone and like calls and she's like, "Yeah, those plans that I had these dinner plans with whatever." She's like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and cancel all of it. I don't need any of it." Um just like so
Sh-
dramatic and joke
she's
or
not used to not getting her way.
no, and Jack's just kind of like standing there like, What?"
Yeah, like
And
doesn't know
so
anything.
yeah, and so like she hangs up the phone and he's like, "Ugh, fine, you don't have to cancel your plans. I'll stay," right? Like totally guilted into staying. Like
No.
and then
Joke or Jack, stand up. Come on, you were free for the night.
right, you were gonna get to spend your birthday with Joke because that was what you guys were talking
Mhm.
about doing. And Joke was stalking them at this point. He's like on a rooftop, like the next house over, like watching this play out. Like he can't hear, right? He's just seeing them talk or whatever, and he's just
Uh-huh.
there. Um, and so I wonder why that's happening, right? So
Mhm.
why is that happening? That's happening because Joke fucking met up with Boss. I'm so mad. This is Joke
That's an
doing
idiot.
things to help Jack without talking to Jack. That is what this
Everyone
is.
stop making deals with boss. Like,
Right?
come on.
Dying. I'm so this makes me so mad,
I know. I just hate this so much.
right? So Joke and Boss have now met up. And Boss is totally annoyed that he can't split Joke and Jack up, right? Because
Mhm.
they weren't talking for a while, right? Because that was what Jack, had said. At one point he had called Boss and was like, "Hey, I cut ties like as best I could. I don't think Joke wants to ever see me again," type of thing. But like also he didn't like run him away because like how
Mhm.
he'd have been a lot meaner, and I don't think he has it in him because he's deep down just a cinnamon roll. um
Mhm.
so Boss is annoyed about their stupid friendship, and Joke is like, "Okay, it's not going anywhere. How do I get Jack out of the shit?"
Uh huh.
And Boss is like, "Yeah, there's actually one way to help me, and I'll also let Jack free of this stupid marriage and working for me. Every clean slate, things are great." And what he wants is for Joke to steal something, right? Which at
Mhm.
this point, Joke has promised Jack that he would never steal again. So
Uh huh.
this is like a big deal on like a lot of fronts. Like one, he's working with Boss secretly. Two, he's stealing something he has now promised, right? And this promise is important to Jack. And not only is he's stealing for Boss. So like
Yeah.
big old
I do
doozy,
kind of think though, since Jack just decided to join back up with Boss again, I feel like it's kind of fair game for Joke to start stealing again. It's like,
yeah.
it's kind of like either we're both doing crime
Okay,
or
but
neither of us are doing crime.
two
But you
wrongs
can't
don't
go
make
back
a
into crime without telling me about it?
yeah, but that's what they both did.
I know. Yeah, I
and and
agree.
and two wrongs don't make a right. Like this
I
isn't gonna
know, but
go well.
I also think like Jack can't be it's like a little hypocritical if like Jack gets upset about this.
I mean, it is, but also it's Jack who has
Yeah.
who has a very strong moral compass with all of this, right? Um
Yeah. Ugh.
like Jack has a very very solid moral compass for the fact of everything he's doing. Um
Yeah.
Joke has a moral compass, but less of one, I would say. it's
Uh-huh.
it's still pretty strong because he's like only steal like specific things, whatever, he's very particular about how he does stuff, but like I think Jax is just a little stronger.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, so we have We have this new plan, and that is why Joke is stalking, because what he wants is in this house.
Mhm.
And Joke gets caught by security because he's literally just standing on like a rooftop balcony.
Like peeping in the windows.
Yeah. So he's there, and so security shows up and is like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Right? But Tattoo, Hoy, and Aran also show up. Um,
Mhm.
and they take care of the security guard. And Joke's like, "How did you know I was here?" And they were like, "Yeah, wherever Jack is, we know you're not far. So Jack's here. We knew you were going to be somewhere near here. This makes the most sense because this is where you can see them." So,
Yeah.
like,
They're like,
cool.
you're on a leash. We know
Right.
that.
Yeah. So at least they know that much. And they're like,
Mhm.
also, we're here to help. So what are you doing? So now they're all on Joke's mission. So to steal whatever this is he wants to steal because it's, but we don't know what it is. So
Yeah. It's heist part 2. It's just like the first one.
yeah. So this
Same
one,
people, except Iran's now helping them instead
yeah.
of being the victim.
Yeah. So that's, so we're on to this new plan, and we go straight into it instead of like standing around going, hmm. And so Tattoo has somehow pretended to be this fish delivery person, and he's got like this cart with like some coolers on it, and he's bringing this fish in to the house, to Rose's house, right? Because whatever he's stealing is in Rose's house. And so they manage to get in and they sneak Joke in through this cooler. And it's really funny because I think it's Hoy is like stressed because he's like sitting somewhere alone, whatever. And Joke is literally freezing to death at this point. Like his lips are turning like blue.
Uh-huh.
And Hoy's like, yeah, never mind. My bad. So they get Joke in and Tattoo manage to get out. Minor difficulty, not too big of a deal. We're good so far. And then Joke is in the next costume where he has to dress up as a waiter, and immediately he gets clocked and is like, "Hey, I need you to go take this drink over to the party room, whatever." And of course, it's where Jack's party is. That Jack doesn't. I don't know that he knows it's his birthday party yet. It's just a party he's
Mhm.
been dragged into,
Yeah.
and Joke is there, and he's trying to like not be seen by Jack at this point. So he's like keeping like his back to like the table and whatever, and he's trying he's handed a bottle of champagne that he's supposed to pour for everyone and he doesn't know how to fucking open
Oh no.
it. And I guess I don't know how to open one either. Like you just take the corkscrew and pop the
You
cork.
like, yeah, you kind of, it has a cork, but you have to like hold on to it and
Ooh.
twist it, and then eventually it'll pop. But you don't want to like, I mean, you can just like send it flying wherever you want, but
Yeah.
like, yeah. But yeah, I had to learn recently because I was making some cocktail with like champagne,
Ooh.
and so I got really good at opening them. But it like makes me jump every time because it's like so loud.
Yeah, I only ever see in the movies where everything goes flying, and so I'm terrified of champagne bottles.
Yeah, no, you can definitely just open it normally. That's just for flair.
I figured, but there's still the phobia, so
Yeah.
I don't drink a lot anyway, but I definitely like champagne is I'm gonna let somebody else do that.
Uh-huh. That's what I always did too. And then like recently there was like no one else home, and I was like, I want this cocktail, so I figured it out.
That's funny.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, Joke managed to get away by spilling like champagne over one of the four horsemen because it's this dinner party is Rose and Jack and the four horsemen, and I don't remember who else is there. It might have just that might be it.
Nightmare birthday party.
Right? Like this is literally my hell. Um
Horrible.
because it's very powerful, very scary rich people and
Mm-hmm.
the girl you're forced to marry.
And none of my friends
Yeah,
at my birthday party. Like,
right?
what a nightmare.
Right? And he's just having to like play like things are great. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so Joke managed to get away by causing chaos. Um,
Mm-hmm.
minor chaos. Um, it's
It's what he
yeah,
does best.
right. Like he's good at it, right? So he gets
Yeah.
away and he's like hiding in a corner somewhere, and Hoy does his one job, which is to cut the power. So Hoy cuts the power, and Jack finds his way into the room with what he's trying to steal, which ends up being a ring, right? Which I
Mm-hmm.
guess is where we backtrack a little. Um, the four horsemen supposedly are in power and they all have like this horseman ring thing and that is how they denote their power and apparently all their power lies in owning this ring and so Right? It's so dumb.
Uh-huh.
I remember when we were watching this, we were like, why is this ring so special?
I know. And luckily, we will get an answer that like
Yeah.
makes sense. But at this point, I was like, "You're fucking kidding me!" Like, to become the powerful horseman, all you need to do is just have possession of this ring. Like, what sense does that make?
Right? It's not the property you own and the money you have. It's the rings, right?
Yeah, this specific ring for no reason.
Yeah. So like Rose's dad obviously doesn't always have his ring on, so it's in this like high security like room whatever. And so Joke managed to get his way into this room. Um and he's like standing there and like as he's like standing there like trying to figure out how to unlock it, right? Cuz there's like a puzzle thing. Jack and Rose like
Hmm.
show up, but they don't see him. He manages to like hide in the closet, but he can like now hear their discussion and uh Jack and Rose, they're talking about the ring, and Rose's like, "Yeah, eventually this ring would belong to you," which is also terrifying. Um,
The man of the house.
right? And Rose's like, "I have a lot of plans though. Like I think we could do a lot of good with this." Like she sees this as like a thing where they can turn everything around and start being good people and not whatever the fuck her dad is doing.
Hmm.
Right? And she's like, "We can, make a change in the community and do like she's got their life figured out." Right? And so and it's so tense because like Joke is hiding in like in a closet, like a foot away from them, and he's got like an
Hmm.
earpiece in, and so everybody's now listening to like what is happening, and everyone's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then Jack goes, "Actually, I need to be honest with you. I don't love you, and I don't want to be your boyfriend."
T.
uh Right, because that she like formally, I think, asked him to be like her boyfriend at that point instead of like a proposal thing. It was like let's be a couple. So a little more reasonable
Yeah.
than our engagement
Start
thing.
there.
Yeah, like I mean, she's already in her head married them off, right? Like, because she's
Yeah.
telling them their like future with this ring, and when she
Hmm.
like asks him to be a boyfriend, that's when he's like, I can't lie to you anymore, right?
Hmm.
Very clearly that there's somebody else type of a situation. And so she cries and they leave, right? And
Yeah.
so after they leave, Joke comes back out from his little hidey hole. And he's standing there, and the clues to figure out the puzzle was the back of the tarot cards that Nang gave them. So Nang gave them the clue for all of this, which is one of those of
Yeah.
like,
Why did she do that?
we'll find out later. Um,
Okay. I can't. I remember. I think I was just really confused about Nang's character the whole show. So.
yeah, because like up until this point, like she's interacted a fair bit with the boss. So you see
Yeah.
that. So I'm like, I don't know why she would know the code to all of this, but besides maybe like because of Rose, because she has the in
Yeah.
with their family, because she's always with Rose, because she's like some sort of mentor or whatever. I never really understood like how that happened, but it did. Um,
Mhm. Because I'm like, okay, she runs the shrine. She's a tarot card reader, and she's like Rosé's
spiritual
like
guide, something,
yeah. So I'm like, this lady has like too much
life
going
coach,
on.
yeah. Um, So yeah, so she's got all that going on. So because the code was like a star or something, like a star pattern. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, that like the back of the
Yeah.
four like tarot cards gave the answer to that. So Joke gets the ring, and of course on the way out, the power's been cut for a while now, and they've pieced together, hey, there was a waiter that shouldn't have been here, like because they found like the guy whose outfit he stole like half naked,
Yeah.
somewhere. So like okay, so there's a spy among us, basically, like an imposter among us, playing some Among
Mhm.
Us now. Um, and so they're trying to do that, and Joke somehow finds his way into Ning's room because she has a room in their house.
Yeah. Of
Um,
course.
right, which I mean, I guess if she's with Rose that much, because like they're for a while they were like inseparable. Anytime you saw her, it wasn't until Jack became like this bodyguard that you saw Rose without Ning.
Uh.
So Joke finds his way into Ning's room, and she actually helps him escape, which is again interesting. She
Uh.
hides him because the guards come, and she like gets in a bath towel and pretends to be naked to like scare them away.
Mhm.
And then she calls Hoy, who's like, "Yeah, you can come help Jack escape, or excuse me, Joke escape now." And Joke's just kind of like, the fuck is happening right now? But also, I gotta go. Um,
Yeah. We'll
so
figure this out later.
yeah, so Joke is now out with the ring. Um, Jack then also has left this party, right? Like because party's over. You broke up with your fake girlfriend. Um,
Uh,
and so Jack is like on his way home and he calls boss and he like apologizes for not being able to marry Rose. And he's like, I'll figure out how to get out of the debt, whatever. And boss is like, actually, you're fine. We'll call it even. And Jack just rolls with that.
Jack needs a little bit more critical thinking skills,
Right?
in my opinion.
Right? Like boss needed you to like marry this girl for not just for your debt, so
Yeah.
he can get his money thing figured out with the whole rent thing. Like
The
that's
3 months, yeah.
yeah, like my guy.
Like, I know from the beginning we've seen Jack as being pretty naive,
Yeah.
but you would think a couple of years, like, in the business,
Yeah, he
he
would
would learn to, like, nothing comes for free.
exactly. So I'm come on, Jack.
Yeah.
Um so but it's fine. Whatever. Like
Uh,
and then Joke is also home. Um now. So they're both home. They've separately made it home. At one point they like text each other and were like, "Yeah, I'm going to be home a little late." And Jack said that and then Joke was like, "That's fine. I'm also going to be late. Whatever." Um
mhm.
so uh they're home and then Joke comes with like a birthday cake with like a one candle on it. And so they both blow out this candle together and then
Aw.
they play the only good game of the whole show. Um and it's like spin the bottle truth or dare. And so they're like
Yes.
I love this scene so much.
Uh-huh.
So Jack spins the bottle and it lands on him and he looks at Joke whatever and he's like truth. And like right before that, Jack had said like he ended it with Rose because he had feelings for somebody else, right? And so
Mhm.
Joke's like truth question is who do you have feelings for, right? Just point blank whatever. And Jack just like looks at him and is like you. They finally admitted it. It only took 9 episodes. Um
Yeah. No, I'm a huge slow burn stan, so
Yes.
I'm like I'm here for it.
I'm here for it, but also Jack and Yin and War have the best chemistry. So like
Mhm.
I like our little like seeds of chemistry were great, but also I would just watching them together regardless. Love it.
Mhm.
But yeah. So Jack has now admitted feelings and so he spins the bottle again and it's really cute because it lands on him again and he turns it so it lands on Joke and Joke's like you cheater. And then
You know, it's you're down bad when you're playing two-person spin the bottle.
right.
Like,
And so Joke then takes a dare and Jack goes, "Will you be my boyfriend?"
ah.
And Joke like pushes the bottle away and leans in and just kisses him. And
Mhm.
so it took us full 9 episodes because this is the end of the episode. Full 9 episodes to get a damn kiss. This is slow burn,
Uh-huh.
but it
This
is.
reminds me when I first started watching BL and it was like you would never get a kiss before the last episode, you know.
Yep, Sodus.
Sodus. I will say I do think to this day Sodus is the best slow burn.
Yeah, it is really good.
Probably because they waited like 15 episodes or whatever. But like, um, I think yeah, this and Sodus and Tale of a Thousand Stars are like the holy trilogy of slow burns in BL. At least for the ones that I've watched.
I would agree with that because they're very different slow burns. So I
Yeah.
would say because like this one like Jack and Joker is so high tension with everything else going on.
Uh
So,
huh.
but then when they kiss, this is the most passionate kiss.
This really is.
So, because at first they're still sitting on like this table palette looking thing. I don't know what it is, right? And it's all the emotion, all the pent up emotion and everything and the desire all at once. Like it is peak just oof.
Mhm.
Because it's not there is nothing like sensitive like gentle about this kiss at all.
Uh-huh.
Like at one point when like Jack pulls away, like Joke is like heavy, like breathing, like it is intense. And then they like get up and they're like heading towards the bedroom and like bouncing against like the door and stuff. But that is where the episode ends. But we do have a post-credit scene, and I think this is the only
Uh-huh.
episode that has a post-credit scene. And the
Uh-huh.
post-credit scene is a Joke giving the ring to Jack or to Boss. So Boss
Uh-huh.
now has his Four Horsemen ring. So he has now demoted Rose's dad from one of the horsemen and taken his place.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, because that's how that works.
Uh-huh.
So, but honestly, I don't care because we finally got Jack and Joke together. Um, Boss can
Yay.
go
That's
do
all it took was
right,
stealing a bunch of things in 9 episodes.
right. So the boss can go do whatever he wants. He just needs to leave Jack
Mm-hmm.
and Joke alone, and we're good. Um,
Yeah.
so episode 10, immediate NC scene.
Okay, I was so gagged when I've never seen an NC scene carry over like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So they'll in episode 9 it ends when they're like, they're in bed and then it's like cut to dark and it's like, okay,
Mhm.
that was the scene.
Yeah.
And then episode 10 just picks up right where it left off and it's like, oh no, they're still going at it. Okay.
Yeah. And this NC scene was unscripted, right? And it's you can tell it's not choreographed the way because Yen and War and I think the director all like had a conversation about this of like they weren't looking for something like scripted and pretty like this is supposed to be like the raw passion basically behind it of like
Yeah.
the all the raw emotions all happening at once. But it's so real honestly because I guess they're both switches because they have this really playful argument over who gets to be on top.
We need more verse representation
Yeah.
in
So it's
dramas.
because they're like flipping each other over on like the couches and like there's very much a dominance control like issue here because neither of them want to give up like being the dominant one.
Mhm.
um Joke eventually does because he's gonna let Jack get whatever he wants. But I love the way he does it when Jack's like let me be on top whatever and Joke doesn't even say anything. He just like raises an eyebrow and like a very small nod, and that's like the only like acknowledgement you get out of it. Um,
Mhm.
I was on Tumblr yesterday and something came up about this scene where somebody pointed out Jack is the only one that has any actual spoken lines during this entire NC scene because he has that
Oh.
and also like at one point they get a little loud and and he's like, "Hey, you need to be quiet." Um, but yeah,
That's funny. I didn't realize.
I didn't either, and like I don't know that it means anything, but I thought it was interesting. That
Mhm.
he's the only one that talks.
Yeah, I will say this is definitely one of the best NC scenes I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Like it's
It
just
feels
the chemistry and like just all of the slow burn
yeah.
culminating till
Mm-hmm.
now. I was like so shook by it. I was like, this is like fucking fantastic.
Yeah, like it's so real, not in like the raunchy way that some of these like BLs have gotten lately.
Mhm.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? Um,
Yeah.
but it was so like you knew exactly what emotions they were going through because like not just the
Mhm.
I'm horny. It's finally we've gotten to this point where we can be together type of a situation
Uh-huh.
and like the relief of that and being able to just like express how you feel.
And the way it's so playful
Mm-hmm.
too.
Right.
I love a playful like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
NC scene. Like that's my favorite. Like I don't care how
Yeah.
like explicit it is.
Yeah, it doesn't need
I
to be.
just love yeah, I
So
love like the chemistry and just I don't know. I love a good like battle for dominance whatever. So,
yeah,
I
and
think all of that's quite fun.
Joke is just playful anyway, so it would have made sense for him
Uh-huh.
to not be playful here. And
Yeah. And I love seeing Jack playful because
hmm
most of the times he's just like suffering.
yeah, he's so serious because
So,
he's had such a shit like life, honestly.
uh-huh.
And it's
Yeah.
it's nice that Joke lets that the I don't want to say child because it's weird to say child, but like the immaturity and the fun come out, a little bit.
Yeah.
He
That he
brings
never really got to express.
Yeah, the joke brings that side back out of him because you like back in episode 1, like you see the like the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed like, joke or Jack that exists because, it's
Mhm.
one of those like, I didn't make the team, but I want to do this school. I have these big plans and I'm going to, life's going to get good at some point type of a thing and that died.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
tucked away deep in there and joke I mean that joke said that he's gonna bring back who Jack was 5 years ago and I'd say he's working on it.
Mhm.
Maybe not in the best way,
Yeah.
you know. And then so after the NC scene, they're just like laying in bed, cuddled up, and it's funny because Jack's like, "Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom now." Like it's so like casually real, like you know. But then Jack notices the tarot card in like Joke's pants. And I was like, "What is this?" And Joke's like, "I didn't do anything. It's nothing. I don't know." Because it's like he knows that Hoy had a tarot card, so he's like,
Uh-huh.
"Why do you have one of Hoy's tarot cards?" And so Joke's having to like play it off of like, "Oh," so they just kind of like move on. Um,
Yeah, don't worry about it.
yeah, and Jack is very suspicious though. Like he's not gonna let it go. He's gonna think about it for a
Mhm.
while. Um, but in the meantime, Jack and Joke are handing out flyers about their new school. So they're moving forward with that plan. Um,
Mhm.
and so they're, having a good time. Life is grand now. And Boss is making moves. And he orders his like team to go round up all the debtors who owe money and like I guess overdue, whatever. So they're gonna go do that, which causes problems. Um, and then Save and Hope are together and they're talking about the money that they still owe and Save doesn't want to work for Boss. Um, but they have nowhere to go and nowhere to run because Boss has too much power now because of this stupid ring.
Mhm.
So, yeah, problems everywhere. Um, that Jack and Joke have no idea about. They're living a grand life.
Yeah.
um, and they're working on like a banner or something for their school and Toy Ting like comes in and she's just like hysterical. And it turns out her dad has abandoned her and like left a note,
Boo.
right? Yeah, and Joke and Jack are basically like, yeah, you can just come live with us. We now have a daughter.
Yeah, they just adopt her immediately.
Yeah, which I mean, she spent a lot of time over with them anyway.
Mhm.
And she's so cute. Um,
Yeah.
and then they have this grand opening for their school, right? So they have this big thing, and it's like I think Rose brings a bunch of stuff and whatever, and everybody's having a good time. Even Joke's dad shows up, and he's there and he helps teach a class. And so it's one of those jokes like what are you doing here? And so we get the flashback of Jack went out of his way to go see Joke's dad at the hospital and was like, "Hey, your son and I are opening up this school, like whatever. We want to help people." And Joke's dad's like, "My son in a school? What?" And he's like, "Yeah, be great if you would come to the opening. Here's the flyer for it, whatever. Okay, bye." So,
Mhm.
um, Joke and his dad, make a couple amends, and dad invites Joke to Sunday dinner. And Toy Ting then bounces up, and Joke introduces Toy Ting as the girl that he and his Fane, right, his partner, are
Uh-huh.
adopting, basically, and then Joke's dad is like, yeah, you should bring your partner and introduce him at some point to me, and that's when Jack walks up, and Joke looks at him and
Mhm.
goes, so this is my boyfriend. And
Ah.
Joke's dad was like, "What?" And Jack was like, "The fuck? Like, what? No warning?"
Yeah.
Like the immediate just panic on his face, of like, I
Yeah.
didn't agree to the, like, what do I do? But it's
Yeah.
all fine. We're good. Um,
It's like you're a strange dad that wouldn't even talk to you is suddenly here and suddenly now I'm your boy like being introduced. I'm like meeting the parents basically.
yeah, it's a lot at once, but it's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, you might as well just
And
rip the band-aid off,
also just being like, "Oh yeah, here's the girl we're adopting." Like
right?
you're you're going to have a grandchild essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah,
I thought was interesting. I feel like for BL shows where the main couple like has a child or like adopts a child. There's only one more I can think of that does this,
Yeah,
which I don't know if I want to. I don't want to spoil anything because I know
okay.
you haven't seen it, but
Okay, I was gonna say I don't think I've seen a single one where anyone's adopted anyone.
yeah, there's one you haven't seen, so I'm not
Okay.
gonna say it because I
Is it
know
is it one I've said I'm
you're
gonna
gonna.
watch?
Yeah, it's when you said you're gonna watch.
Okay. Now I'm
So,
excited to figure out which one it is.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, you'll find out eventually. But
yeah.
I just thought this was interesting because I was like, yeah, I haven't seen too many shows that are about like where our characters become parents. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of any either that I've seen mentioned, even that I haven't seen. Um,
Pit Babe season 2, perhaps.
I swear to God.
I'm just kidding.
I
I'm
mean,
fearful for that.
what would be interesting is if they adopt one of the kids that what's his face, Tony
Oh,
has captive. That would
yes.
I could handle that.
I
I would
could handle that. You know what? That is. I was gonna say Mpreg or nothing, but I agree. That's
no,
we could go that route
I
for
could
sure.
accept that. Like that cuz he's got a bunch of random like orphaned kids, right? So,
Yeah, he has so many children that need to be adopted.
yeah. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I would actually be okay with that.
I would too, as
Hmm.
long as they just don't bring some woman in to
Right? Like
give
don't
birth, and that's it.
randomly, you know, yeah, just don't do that. Literally anything
Mhm.
but that. Like we can go no kids. We can stay that way.
Uh
Um
huh.
whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
back to Jack and Joke, who
Anyway.
are now dads. Um the closest to this is real life is Tong.
Oh yeah, he's adopted a child.
Yeah, Tong adopted his like best friend's kid after his friend passed away. Um, and that was a while ago, apparently, because
Yeah.
I saw a photo of Tong with the kid recently, and he's pretty big. He's older.
Mhm.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was expecting like a 7-year-old or something, but he's definitely like a teenager now.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I looked at the comments and everyone was like when did they get so big?
yeah. So I didn't realize how long ago that had happened, which I mean I guess makes sense because I know it was well before Kin Porsche.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, that's the closest I've seen to anything is real life. Um, um, so yeah, so the Jack and Joke have adopted, maybe not legally adopted, but they've just taken
Mhm.
in Toy Ting. Um, I don't think anybody would question it at this moment, to be honest, because
Mhm.
Dad's not around. Um,
Yeah.
and Mom hasn't been around the whole show, so. Um, and then we learn interesting about Boss and Ning, because I thought we were gonna go the route of their dating,
Uh-huh.
but they're
Yeah.
siblings.
Yeah. This is I completely at this part I'm just like Nega's got too much going on, girl. Like I can't keep up.
Yeah. So Rose's dad actually had Boss and Ning's parents killed somehow.
Uh-huh.
We don't ever learn like the backstory to that really. It's just that was a thing that happened.
Mhm.
And so Boss feels like betrayed by Ning because she's been like helping Rose this entire time, and Ning is just kind of like, this is my way of being able to infiltrate to like screw them all over,
Yeah.
right?
Dude, Nang is so much smarter than Boss. Like, come on, you want a mole, don't you? Like,
Yeah,
cause if you have the mole, she's gonna help you steal the damn ring and like do other things.
right? Like if Ning didn't give the hint on how to get the puzzle done from to get the
Mhm.
ring, like I don't like uh Joke probably would have triggered the alarm trying to figure out the puzzle. Like he had no
Yeah,
clues.
exactly.
Like
Yep.
so and then also he would have gotten caught if she didn't help him out to get out at the end
Mhm.
either. So
Yeah.
like really like
You need a girl on the inside.
right? Like I don't know why he felt betrayed all of a sudden. Like this is stupid. Men are stupid.
Yeah. Retweet.
So, okay. And then we have Rosé's like project thing again, the charity, whatever she's doing, and like they're protesting around there. Um, for whatever reason. I don't remember why. It's just a thing that was happening. And then Ning's
Yeah, I
shrine.
think they were like not giving people the money
Oh,
for the
yeah.
projects or some shit.
Yeah, and then the amount of times my microphone has fallen today. But yeah, that's what it was. Is they didn't get their money. Something like the money got stolen or something. Cause Save was the one dealing with the money, I believe.
Yeah.
And so they were having to figure out like pull out more money so that she could pay the people that were supposed to get money because whatever. So
Yeah.
she's dealing with that. Nang's shrine is now under attack by Boss's people because that's how upset he is by her betrayal. Um, it wasn't
Bro,
betrayal,
she should take the damn ring if you're so ungrateful.
right? Um, so there's that. Yeah, oh yeah, and there's my note that someone stole the money that Save withdrew to give to the people. That's why the protest was happening. And Jack has the sense to realize the boss is behind all of this. He doesn't know anything about the stupid ring at this point, but
Yeah.
he's like, okay, boss has made some moves. And
Uh-huh.
and the next thing that happens is O is dead. O like jumps off a building and like
I-
commits suicide or something. Um
When this happened, I was like, no, this can't be.
it was crazy,
Not Jenny.
right? Like
She just won a bunch of money.
yeah, so I skipped over the scene, but earlier in like the background of um like other stuff happening, like it's only partially like even brought up, but you see O is like dealing with some of like boss's people and having to sign some paperwork, but it doesn't make sense because she should be debt free at this point. Because she won
Did
the
she like
game with
gam did she gamble it away or something?
she got convinced to take out like a insane loan to expand her little coffee cart thing.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
one
she
that
got scammed.
yeah, it was a loan that didn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
she was put into like the most unreasonable amount of debt. Um,
Mhm.
even though she won that game because Jack won the game. And it's actually Save's fault again because he tricked her into investing the money poorly in a very
Oh
similar
my god.
fashion to how he tricked Jack into doing that to lose all the money. And that is where
Dude,
Jack realizes that Save is working for Boss and betrayed him.
I'm sorry, but I hate Save. Like, I know he's kind of working in the same conditions as everyone else and he doesn't want to, but the amount of harm he's done to people is like so much worse than a lot like the rest of the minions
Save got
and the
O
debt
killed,
collectors.
right?
Literally, he like yeah,
He's got blood on his hands.
he does. He's got
Honestly,
a
nobody
body
else
count
does.
now.
Yeah. That we've seen, nobody else does. Cuz I like Jack's done everything he can up until this point, even before like the what we see in the show to like help people, right? Like he's paying off
Uh-huh.
everyone else's debt instead of his own. Um even Hope, I haven't seen like hurt like kill anyone. Like he's beat people and I can imagine he's done some things that would have happened off screen with knives and whatever, but I don't know that he's ever actually killed anyone.
Mm-mm.
Um, but Save indirectly got O killed, and also
Yeah.
is the reason that Jack got put into more debt, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, Save is doing the bare minimum and causing the most damage, honestly.
Yeah, essentially. That's why he's like gaining favor with Boss because Boss is like, yeah, look at this idiot who will just do
hmm
horrible things for me.
Yeah, so Jack is done with Save at this point as well. So
Mhm.
and then with all this, Rose's parents go on the run and they're like, "We, if you come back to the house, we're taking the jet. We're leaving the country." Like they're gone. And
Wait,
Rose,
why?
because they don't have any power anymore because that was their ring that got
Oh, because
stolen.
oh yeah,
So
they don't have the ring.
yeah, so Boss is coming after them. So that's why they're like, "Bye. You should also leave. It's not safe for you either." Um,
Uh-huh.
but they don't like wait for her. They just let her. I guess she's an adult. She can go do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Um,
Like get your own flight.
Yeah. So then everyone that was in the shrine is now barricaded in the shrine and they're like trying to figure out like what to do. And then surprise, surprise, blast from the past, Carbon shows up. As in Carbon is from the first episode and he's the taekwondo guy that that Jack fights and then like loses against and is also the reason Jack didn't make it on the national team.
Mhm.
So
Who
we
later got put in prison for like assaulting someone
Yeah, so he's now
or something.
he's out of prison and he's now working for Boss. Because of course he is. Um,
He's a good minion that you want on your side.
he is, but he was a politician's son. So like
That's true.
like the fact that he's now working for Boss is wild to me. But it's fine. We wanted to
Yeah.
go full circle.
He's
Um,
disowned, I guess.
yeah, probably to be honest. And he has the kids held hostage. So like Toy Ting and everyone, he's got them held hostage at like the school. And Toy Ting is a smart cookie, love her to death. And so she comes
Uh,
up with a plan to like distract Carbon to get all the other kids out and gets him to chase her specifically. So the chase is on now, which is the worst thing ever.
uh-huh.
um and somehow they convince all the shrine people to fight too to get out, whatever. So they do that thing, and the kids like show up around that time and they're like, "Hey, Carbon is chasing after Toy Ting. You should probably go help her." And so Jack and Joke like both go take off. Um, and Carbon, this is this is probably the hardest scene to watch in a
I was
rewatch.
so gagged when
I
this happened.
I this I've cried a few times within the show, but this one probably was the worst thing because Carbon has Toy Ting cornered like on this like second floor of a warehouse, and he's like playing with her, right? Like not like playfully, like he demented, right? And he ends up
Mhm.
throwing her off of the balcony from the second floor onto the first floor. Like, what?
I was so shocked. I guess I'm just so used to not seeing like violence towards children that in my brain I was like, yeah, like whatever, she's gonna find a way to get away, like nothing's
Yeah.
gonna happen. And then he chucks her off the side of the building. I was like, are you kidding?
Yeah, it was crazy. I thought, either Jack or Joke was gonna like, cause they weren't together. I don't,
Mhm.
so I think it was Joke. Yeah, it was Joke that was at the shrine. So it would have been Joke. I would have assumed made it to the warehouse and found her. So I was like, Joke's gonna go there. He's gonna get his ass kicked by Carbon because Carbon's a black belt in Taekwondo and Joke can fight, but he's still Jack's still the stronger fighter. So I would assume Carbon's the stronger fighter. Um, so I figured we were gonna have that type of thing. No, no, we threw the child over the balcony.
Yeah. I know, I feel like I've seen this scene so many times before in terms of like, something bad's gonna happen to a character and then like, someone saves the day or they
Yeah.
find the way out of it or whatever. Nope, not
No.
this time. She
Yeah.
literally just gets chucked off the balcony.
Yeah.
This like 11-year-old child.
Crazy. Respect
Mhm.
respect to Yin and War for going that hard. But like
Yeah, no, I love it. I love this. It's horrible, but like I love a shocking twist.
yes. Um but yeah, so that's a thing. And so the next thing we see is Toy Ting getting rushed to the hospital. And Joke is like seconds from having a mental breakdown. Um
Mhm.
like he is losing it because he has accepted that is his daughter, you know,
Yeah.
losing it, right? And his dad shows up and is like, "That's my niece, whatever." Because I think it's a Thai thing because I was reading that like
Uh-huh.
everybody's uncle after a while,
Mhm.
because she calls him uncle, not grandfather. So
Yeah.
I also don't know if it's Joke and Jack are also just uncles instead of dad because she had a dad, right?
Yeah,
Like
they might just
so.
be.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, cause Joke's dad calls her like niece, and he's like, "That's my
Mhm.
niece. I'm gonna do everything I can." Like, Joke, right? And then Jack shows up, cause Jack was behind, cause Jack went to help Rose with the charity thing, where Joke went to the shrine. They had a very heartfelt goodbye at that moment too. Um,
Mhm.
and so at the hospital, Joke confesses to Jack like what he did with the whole ring thing, and that how all of this is now his fault. And that
Sure.
is how this episode ends. Like we don't that's it.
I kind of don't understand why it happened though, cuz like okay, Mr. Boss has the ring. Why is he sending people after the children?
It's I think a power move to go after everybody, right? So he's making it clear that he has power over Rosé's parents and that's why they had to evacuate, right? And Rosé's
Uh-huh.
also at risk with that. And then so you have that, but then also um there were some comments that made it clear that he wants Joke and Jack taken out too. So like there's that, but also um
Mhm.
like he's cleaning house a lot on that. Like the kids are kind of dead weight,
Mhm.
whatever. And so I think it's more of a if I hold the
Okay.
I would assume it's more of a because it's not clearly spelled out either. So it would be like maybe if I hold the kids hostage, their parents will actually do something useful and help me because um
Uh.
we'll see later where the parents actually are. So a little bit of a
Okay.
spoiler, but Toy Ting's dad didn't actually abandon her. He got kidnapped more or less. He's being held hostage in a room doing whatever labor for boss. Um,
Yeah.
so we don't see
Okay.
that till later, right? So
Yeah. I guess it's just like
it wasn't
the
clearly
rich
spelled out. Yeah,
want to be richer and more powerful. Like,
yeah.
even though he's got what he's wanted, he just wants
I think he's
more
flexing the
now.
power now, right? He's flexing
Yeah.
it
Okay,
to
that makes sense.
yeah,
Because I was like, what does he even want at this point? But I kind of forget that rich people are
yeah,
psychotic.
yeah.
So.
So it's definitely like cleaning up the house of the people that owe him money and stuff. I don't. My guess is he's not working as a debt collector anymore. Is his end game, right? Like
Yeah. He's
he
moved on to
yeah,
bigger and worser things.
yeah. So the first thing to do is deal with that. Get
Yeah.
rid of all the people, and then you don't have to worry about it. Um. So yeah. So a little bit of a spoiler of what's coming ahead, but that's fine. So episode 11, we're straight back exactly where we left off with Joke having just confessed to Jack what he did with the
Mhm.
ring and the stealing and whatever, and Jack loses it on Joke, right? Like unforgivable is like Toy Ting might die because of you type of a thing, whatever, and
That's
Joke,
like,
yeah.
that's too harsh.
I think its emotions are high, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
literally everything has fallen apart around Jack all at the same time.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
it's his friend's charity thing. His friends are dying. Like it wasn't but a couple hours ago that O died. Um,
Mhm.
right, like this all happened like at the same time. Um,
Yeah,
so
it feels. I know, yeah, he's not thinking straight, but it is crummy to blame it on Joke instead of blaming it on Boss, who is literally the one
yeah,
doing all these things.
yeah. So, but
But
it's
he's just like an easy target.
he
So.
is, and it's there is some blame there for a joke because if he didn't steal the damn ring, none of this would have happened.
Mm.
But I mean, this also wouldn't have happened if Boss didn't like suck and like get grandma sick, right? Like,
Yeah.
so like in
Like,
the Boss is the villain. No
yeah,
question.
no. Yeah.
Um
Very butterfly effect. Like, yeah,
yeah.
if they didn't open the school, this wouldn't have happened. So actually, it's the school's fault.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like you can blame anyone for this, but
Yeah. No.
you should just blame Boss.
Yeah. So but yeah, no, Joke is definitely the easy target and then especially when Jack is crumbling. Um
Mhm.
and he like leaves and goes on like the craziest rampage ever. My one note of this
Mhm.
was adrenaline is a hell of a drug because
Yeah.
he's over like Boss is like building looking for him and like it's the office place, right? And so it's just one like debt collector after another. He's just fighting all of them. Um and he's taken quite a few of these guys down that are like a much bigger size than he is.
Mhm.
And he does get overwhelmed though because 2-on-1 he doesn't stand a chance. And so um I don't exactly know what happens because they like Boss kind of mocks him for a while and then just lets him go. Um,
Uh.
uh, so there's that, and then Toy Ting in the meantime is going under surgery. Joke's dad is the one doing the surgery. Joke is having another full-on meltdown. Because he thinks Toy Ting is gonna die, and he's also
Mhm.
blaming himself the way Jack was blaming him.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, but Joke's dad comes out and he goes, "She's out of danger. We still got to get through all this, but she's out of danger, so
Mhm.
you can breathe easy. He's like, go home, go get some rest, whatever. You can't do anything. Um, and then at home, Jack is because Joke does not go home for one,
Uh.
but Jack is home and he is very mad at both Joke and Save,
Mhm.
and Hope and Save show up, which is so bold.
Yeah.
And uh, Save is there so he can apologize for everything he's done. Um, which
Save it, save. That's what I
so
would say.
Save is working for Boss though because of Hope. Because Save and Hope I
Mm-hmm.
think were together well before that, and so it was one of those to keep Hope safe. Uh this is so confusing to say. But to keep Hope safe, Save had to work for Boss and do what he wanted, basically. And that's kind of the
Mm-hmm.
blackmail that came from.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and then Joke, instead of going home to Jack, now goes home to his parents' house, and so he is now in his childhood home for the first time in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 5.5 at this point with everything that's happened.
Yeah.
And so he's there and kind of processing slowly. Um, and now we have a new group that they're at like the school, and it's Save, and it's Jack, Hoy, Tattoo, Aran, Save, and Hope. So no Joke. Everybody but Joke at this point. So we've added Save and Hope to our friend group.
Mm-hmm.
And they're at the school and they're trying to figure out what to do to about Boss, right? And everyone's like, none of us have good ideas. Like they're running through like, here's plan A and plan B and like all of these like, whatever. And they're like, Joke is normally the one that comes up with the plans. So
Uh-huh.
and Jack is like, don't even say his name around me. um Maybe I had it backwards because I have it now that Hope got hired to work for Boss. Oh yeah, yeah. So that's I had it right. So Hope got started working for Boss to keep Save in check is what it was. So that
Mm.
Save has to, do what Boss says or Hope gets hurt. So same thing, but it's
Hope is just always getting hurt, basically.
yeah, he is anyway cuz when Boss was like disowning Iran, he took it out on Hope. Instead of punching
Mm-hmm.
Iran, every time he wanted to punch Iran, he would punch Hope.
Yeah. He's the whipping boy.
Um So then, the horsemen are gonna play their Monopoly game again. Um, so Jack and Save have a crazy idea that they don't explain, and they just leave.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where everyone else is coming up with their own ideas, and it's plan A through D, and all of them fail miserably. Like they're terrible plans. Um, One of them was like closing the road, but then like the police come and go, "You don't have a permit to close this road." Like it's the dumbest ideas. Like clearly, Joke is the only one who has any sense in this group. Besides, I guess
Mm-hmm.
Jack and Save whatever they're doing. Um, and then, of course, the game is being played again at Lompran's house, right? So Rosé's also trying to get in the house, but because her dad doesn't have any power, she also doesn't. So they don't really let her in, but she ends up calling Lompran, and he lets her in. Um, and between her and Jack and Save, they like come up with like a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, Lompran lets Save like play in his stead, I guess. So Save is playing, Jack is there as bodyguard, Lompran is just hosting the game. Um, Rose is just like waiting somewhere in a different room. And basically Jack traded being treated as an equal for his with Lompran for like his help. And and part of that is he has to pretend to be like a dog. This is the acting in this is so good. Like it wasn't awkward in like bad acting. It just so uncomfortable of a scene.
Uh-huh.
Cuz Jack is like on all fours and Lompran's like bark and Jack's like is what kind of dog? And so they're going through like the different dogs and Save is just watching is like what?
I love that.
Yeah,
I love getting specific about it.
it was a crazy scene. Um And Save also just offers his life as collateral for like this. It's like if I lose, then you can just kill me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So so we're back to the Monopoly game, and it's real assets yet again. And Lompran is Save's sponsor because Save doesn't have any kind of money to put into this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Boss just sucks at Monopoly, I guess, because this game,
Apparently, I mean, it is all luck, so.
yeah, I mean it is, but I don't know. I'm not good at Monopoly either, so I can't say anything. But I'm not good because I don't like making trades with people. So
uh,
I'll have like the one key thing everybody needs and then refuse to trade unless it just bankrupts somebody.
yeah.
So
I'm not big into Monopoly either.
no. It's I have like 3 different copies of it because I have like a hometown
Really?
version, I have like a Pirates of the Caribbean version, and then I forget what the third one is. Um, but yeah, I, 2 of those I don't think I've ever opened. Um, but yeah, so this game once again doesn't go well for Boss, and Boss basically has to give up the like neighborhood that like Jack lives in to save, or he goes bankrupt.
Ooh,
And
love it.
yeah, and so Boss does that, and the game ends, I guess, and Boss isn't bankrupt, but he also doesn't have his building anymore that he needs to make money. But I don't, I don't know. Um,
Boss should really not be playing these games.
no,
He's so dumb.
yeah, and then Rose does the dumbest thing ever. So Boss goes to leave, and so like at the door, she like stops him, and she's like demanding her ring back, like her parents' ring.
Hmm.
And he was like, "Yeah, get in the car, and we'll make a deal, whatever." And so she gets in the car with him, like an idiot.
Rose, you've this girl clearly has been kidnapped enough to like
Yeah, she
learn her lesson on that one.
if anybody in the show is naive, I'm like, her parents failed her. Like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be crime lords, teach your kid common sense.
Yeah, literally.
Like, don't go in the car with the guy who has like stolen your family ring. Come on.
Yeah, and it was
Um,
just hired a man to throw a 10-year-old off a building.
right? Like, come on. Okay. And then, uh, then we're back to Joke, and he's over with Grandma at home. Jack's not there. It's just Joke and Grandma, and he's there, and he's saying like this long goodbye. He's like, I don't deserve to be here. Whatever. Jack's never gonna want to see me again, so I'm leaving. I'm ghosting. Goodbye. Whatever. And he like this long soliloquy, and she's like, how am I supposed to remember that? And they're like crying, and he like leaves a gift for her and for Toy Ting. Um and he goes to sneak out the back because he hears someone coming from the front of the house, and he thinks it's Jack coming back. He's like, I don't even want to see him.
Hmm.
Um and he doesn't make it very far before he hears like a crash sound, so something has happened, and I mean, I assumed Grandma dropped a plate or something, you know. And so he walks in the house, and it's Carbon. It's not Jack. Jack's not there. Carbon is there, and he uh and Joke and Grandma both try to fight Carbon, but neither of them are a match for him. So Grandma,
Granny almost.
yeah, she she can hold
She
her
puts
own
up
way
quite a
better
fight.
than Joke can. um, and then so Carbon takes Joke with him. So great.
Hmm.
Granny's on like the ground, like I think she got knocked out or something.
Uh,
So yeah, and so Boss now has Rose and Joke, so things can't be going well.
mm-mm.
And then Save is now in control of the neighborhood, as like the boss, the like whatever.
Hmm.
And he's like, yeah, new leaf, whatever, yada yada, no big deal. But he and like Hope are talking, whatever, and they like split up to go do whatever. And Boss's minions come for Save, because of course they do. And Hope tries to come to the rescue, but gets the ever living shit beat out of him.
Oh
Like this
no.
is this is the worst he's been beat up this whole show, and he's been beat up multiple times. Um,
Uh.
he gets beat up more than anybody else in the show.
Hmm.
So yeah, so he gets beat up, and Save is kidnapped. Um, and that is where Joke wakes up in some sort of a warehouse with a collar on and some shackles on. And Save and Rose are both there as well. And Boss is like, I want to play a game. So we are now in
Oh my
our
god.
Saul era. Um,
Yeah. God.
so yay, episode 11. I missed episode 9 where we ended with kisses. Um,
I know.
because episode 10 ended with Toy Ting nearly dying, and episode 11 is now kidnapped trio here.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah.
God, episode 12. I have such beef with this episode. I hate it. Well, I just hate the game that
Yeah.
they are about to play.
Yeah. Like everything else is fine. It's the game that is stupid.
It is.
Um
It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. But we'll get into that.
yeah. So we start episode 12 where everyone that is not kidnapped has to figure out where Boss took the ones that are kidnapped. And so they're all standing around going, we don't even know where to start, right? But then Hope comes out of nowhere and he goes, actually, I know where he's taken them. Um, which I assume is just coming from him working for them. I have a feeling he's taking other people to this place, is my guess.
Yeah.
Um, and so Hope takes them all there, and Hope is not looking great at all. Like he is beat to hell. Um,
Uh.
and then Tattoo comes and gives them all some tranquilizer spray, and then as like a backup thing, to help them. And they split up. They all have like different missions on like where they've got to go. Um, so Aran and Jack they go straight for it and just try to walk in, and the
Mhm.
guards don't let them. Um, and I think the only reason they don't die outright is just because Aran is there, right? So it's like, let me go
Yeah.
see my dad, and the guards are like, nobody's allowed right now, you know. Um,
Mhm.
so somehow Aran has the purse on him, the electrocution purse, and he like hands it to them, I guess, and then electrocutes both of them at once, which is a little silly because it's like, sure, but yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Um, but yeah, so they're past that, so they're on their way, and Hope is on like a solo mission because his goal is to get to the control room, so he can go control whatever's going on. Um, and then while they're doing that, Boss calls like Rose's dad, who's like begging to let like Rose go free, and he's like, "I'll do whatever you want, whatever," and Boss is like, "Nah." I'm just calling to fuck with you, more or less. Um,
He's such an ass.
right? Like he's gone off the rails at this point.
At least get like a ransom or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's happening, and the Hoy and Tattoo are like causing a distraction outside, and they're like taking out some of the guards with the tranquilizer spray. But Hoy is also an idiot, so he walks straight in the spray and also gets knocked out. Um,
That part had me laughing.
yeah, it was really funny. Hoy is really funny. He's just kind of dumb.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so Jack makes it to the hostages. We don't know where Iran is at this point, but Jack is with the hostages. And like Boss is like on a balcony above them. So like the hostages are like on the ground, floor, and he's above them, almost on like a catwalk, maybe not quite a catwalk because there's a platform, but it's open. And so he gets there, and Jack's immediately like, "Let me, trade three for one." And Boss is like, no." And
Like
also,
that's about trade.
yeah, and also like the hell like joke is gonna let him do that anyway, right? Um
Yeah. So you need a better plan.
yeah,
Concern now you're a hostage.
yeah. And Boss is like, I'll play a game with Jack, and then if Jack wins, I'll let the hostages go free. And then if Jack refuses, Joke's just gonna die right now.
Yeah,
And
I guess
Joke
their collars can just kill him instantly.
Yeah, and Joke's like, don't you dare do it, just let me die. Right? Like he's just like, no. And of course Jack's like, yeah, I'll play. Right?
Hmm.
And then we have the dumbest fucking game in this whole thing. They're playing Hangman. And
Uh,
honestly, the game itself, like I was fine with this being the game because we've been playing stupid games this whole time, right? Like we played Monopoly a couple
uh-huh.
times. We played whatever the Heavens Ladder bullshit was. So I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okay, Hangman, fine. And so the initial thing was Boss was gonna guess Rose's word. So Rose had to pick a word and Boss would have to figure out what it is. And then Joke was gonna pick a word and Jack would have to figure out what it is. So they pick their words and then Boss goes, actually, because I know this wouldn't be fair otherwise, we're gonna switch. And I will guess Joke's word and Jack, you will guess Rose's word. Um right? And it's like, okay. Also makes sense, right? Because you would assume the Joke would have picked something that would have been like really easy for Jack to figure out, right?
Uh-huh.
So we have that, and like Save's just there, right? All this is going on between like Boss and Jack, Joke, and Rose, and Save's just hanging out on the sideline. But
Yeah.
Hope gets
They
to the
forgot about him.
yeah, but Hope gets to the control room and manages to release Save's shackles like immediately and like all in like the collar and all that. So Save runs and he's like, I'm gonna go help Hope. Bye. So he's gone.
Hmm. Good luck with your hangman.
Right? I mean, he's no use there anyway, so he might as well go.
No.
Um, and Iran has gone off to go free the people that Boss had locked up because of the debt, which is where Toy Ting's dad was.
Mhm.
Because they were doing something, and it actually took a minute for him to like convince these people to like go.
Mhm.
And it was actually Iran being like, "Dude, your daughter Toy Ting is braver than you, right?" And that's where like
Yeah.
her dad was like, "Oh, okay, I'll go fight. Whatever, we'll go out." So he does that. That's why he wasn't around. And Hoy and Tattoo, of course, run into Carbon. And they fight, which is not a balanced fight at all, right? But also Carbon has a gun, so it's twice as not balanced.
Mhm.
And somewhere in the struggle, Save gets the gun, but he has never shot a gun before. He doesn't handle it very well, and like with the recoil, he ends up like shooting. This is another dumb scene, but it was funny. It's fine because it's Hoy. It's fine, but like
Uh-huh.
he hits like some chunk of metal in this warehouse because it's just a giant warehouse they're in, right? And it hits the metal and it bounces a couple different times until it hits Tattoo in the butt. So he's now shot Tattoo in the butt, and even Carbon's just like laughing.
Save is almost racked up another body on his
Yeah,
body count.
not Save. I'm sorry, it was Hoy. I wrote it wrong.
Oh, it was
But
Hoy.
yeah, it was
Okay.
Hoy.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Because Save is on his way to
Oh, yeah,
Hope.
he's
Yeah,
running.
he's with Hope.
Yeah.
So it's Hoy. There's too many names.
There are.
There's a lot happening because it's like bouncing between stuff like one after another. So, um, I think Carbon just leaves them alone. I don't remember exactly. Maybe they knock him out something. I don't remember what happens because Tattoo's now been shot in the butt. So Jack wins the game in the most bullshit way ever. Um,
Mhm.
so uh, Rose's word was dickhead, right? So Jack figured that out somehow. Joke's word was sorry, but it was misspelled. And that it's bullshit. That
Oh my god.
how do you win on a misspelled word?
I know. He spelled it Zari.
Right? So it's in
So
it,
Zory.
so they played this game in English for whatever reason, right? And so this goes back to earlier. I think we talked about it in episode 1 of
Uh.
this, where or part 1 of this, where Joke sucks at English, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, it gave us this zinger of like Boss is having like a conniption because he lost because Joke can't spell, and the Joke has just like this smug grin on his face, and he just goes, "Sorry," and he's just whatever, and I'm like, no. Someone I don't remember who it was, but somebody made a point of like, it's not our fault that your game can't tell a misspelled word,
Yeah,
and that's fair. Like
that is fair.
that's like
I
the
also
one thing.
I just don't get why they needed to play a game at all. Like, if you're boss and you have the upper hand and you lose your game, okay, I guess I'll just set you free because you won the stupid hangman. Like, what?
Rich people, rich bad people, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't let them go after that. Are you kidding? Like,
I
it's
mean,
either I win the game and I win, or I lose the game and you guys still don't get to leave.
I mean, you do know that's what happens, right? Like,
That's true.
like
But I just it's I don't know. It's just like why even play the game to begin with?
to fuck with people.
I guess I don't know. It's all just ridiculous.
You got to get in the mindset of someone this fucked up. Like he's doing this to toy with them at this point because he
He
knows.
just he wants to win a game so badly. I bet is the thing.
Yeah, it's his
He
ego of
hasn't won any.
yeah, it's his ego of winning a game, but also it doesn't matter because he has them in such a position where all he's got to do is hit a button and they're dead anyway, right?
Yeah,
So like he wins either way, but at least this way it's fun because he gets to toy with them. Um,
I
Especially
guess.
if Joke could spell the word sorry in English, he would have lost because he would have figured out the word because he had
Mm.
it. He had it pretty quick.
I will say for Hangman, sorry isn't the easiest word.
No, it's not
Cause
the
like
double R and
O is kind
Y.
of a
Yeah,
weird vowel. There's a Y. Two of the letters are the same. Only the S is really easy. So
yeah. Just get an S and
just
nothing
saying.
else for a while. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I feel Dickhead probably would have been an easier one to guess, to be honest. Um.
Yeah.
because you've
I
got
definitely.
yeah,
You got a lot of vowels in there. A lot
mm-hmm,
of easy letters.
yeah,
H, C, D, you know?
yeah. K is about the only weird one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so yeah, it's bullshit that it was on a technicality that Jack won. But okay, oh,
We'll
sure,
let it slide, whatever. We're
yeah.
almost the show's almost ending, so it's like I'm not gonna be too picky.
Yeah, like the line of them being like it's not our fault your game can't tell a misspelled word is very valid because I have played Hangman on like computer games and if you try to do a word that is misspelled, it doesn't let you. So
Yeah.
that is programmer issue. Um
Mhm.
um so right as all this is happening, Aran shows up and he's like by his dad, so he's up on the upper thing and he tries to steal the tablet because this tablet is how Boss was playing Hangman, but it also like controls like the collars and everything. So um Aran tries to get that and like Jack like goes up to help Aran, but like in the meantime, like the tablet falls down to the first floor where everyone's at, and of course everyone like freaks out a little bit. Um and so, but as soon as Jack goes upstairs, Aran basically sends him back downstairs and like go down there and the bigger problem. Um and then Carbon and Save run into each other. No, okay, I skipped a fight at some point because at some point, uh, Save on his way to finding Hope, gets caught in the thing, and then Hope like adrenaline beats like three people at once. Um,
Mhm. Sure.
so down where everybody is again. So is where Save and Hope show up, and Carbon also shows up, and so Save and Carbon fight for some reason, but easy win for Carbon. So Hope then jumps in, which is also a pretty easy fight for Carbon, which is kind of impressive because Hope has been taking down some people, but also Hope is in terrible shape.
Mhm.
And so Carbon has the tablet, but then Jack has a gun all of a sudden. I think he got from like one of the other guards that he took out.
Uh-huh.
Um, so before Carbon can do anything, Jack's got the gun pointed at him. And so then they fight. They lose the gun pretty quick, and it's just fist fights and like whatever. But Carbon then drags Joke into this fight, which sets Jack off. And so Jack and Joke kind of like somehow team up, which Joke is still like shackled, by the way, so he's very limited on what he can do. But
Mhm.
between the two of them, they managed to break Carbon's leg, um,
Yeah.
which they broke like his femur, I think. So like that's not,
Owie.
that's like the worst one to break.
Uh-huh.
Like deserved because Carbon sucks, but like, well,
Yeah.
um, and so then Boss shows up and he goes, this is wild, right? So Boss shows up and he takes the tablet and he's like slamming like his hand. Wait, no, no, no. So yeah, he has the tablet and he's having his moment, but Jack just goes straight to hugging Joke. And like clearly Boss is about to set off the like collar bomb thing and Joke
Uh-huh.
is like, "Let go, dude. Like it's fine. You're going to get hurt too. It's fine. Please go." Right? And Jack's
Mhm.
like, "Absolutely not." And he's just grinning. And like Boss is literally getting ready to like set off this thing and they're having like just such a moment. Um and apparently this is the perfect time for Jack and Joke to kiss again. I guess. Uh
Why not?
cuz even like Rosé's standing there like, also with the bomb collar on going like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And Jack and Joke are just no one else is in the room besides the two of them. The craziest moment. I
Uh-huh.
guess they're like, we're about to die anyway. Might as well as, be together. Um
Yeah.
So that's where Boss hits the button and then nothing happens. And he's like aggressively hitting this button and nothing happens. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, over like an intercom that I didn't know existed, Ning's voice comes out and is like, Boss cheated, so now he's disqualified. Um
They all take their games so seriously.
they really do.
Uh-huh.
And so this was apparently this whole thing for a while has been a game for the Four Horsemen. Not
Mhm.
like the actual Four Horsemen, because guess what? The ring means nothing.
Who would have guessed that a stupid ass ring would mean literally nothing?
Yeah, so they've been on everything the entire time. So and the boss gets the craziest punishment. He's literally erased from the civil registry, right? Which I guess is like I don't know, the registry that proves you exist. Like I guess like our social
Yeah,
security thing would be an equivalent, I guess.
I would
Um,
assume
and
so.
he's stripped of all of his assets. So he is doesn't exist and is poor.
Yeah.
And then they like also let everybody free after that, the four
Mhm.
horsemen, because they were just fucking around. Um, but like they knew that like Boss was on this power trip, and so they just fucked with him this entire time, including like
Mhm.
Nang, right? So she's been in on all of this.
Which
Um,
is good. I'm glad they explained it this way because I was like, yeah, the ring thing makes zero sense
yeah,
at all.
yeah,
But then it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't make sense at all in
no,
canon.
yeah, it was a joke because somehow they convinced him, Boss, because he's an idiot, right? That yeah, you own a ring, all of a sudden you have all this power. Um,
Yeah. Hey,
and
I'm all for scamming boss.
I am too, but like the fact that Rosé's dad used her as bait
Yeah, it's messed up.
would never forgive him ever. Sorry.
No.
Um. So yeah, so Save Hope and Tattoo go straight to the hospital, and Toy Ting, who's been in the hospital, she's now awake and like in a wheelchair and sassy, and she's good.
Yay.
Carbon gets sent to the police, so he's gone again. But they did basically cover everything up as far as like Boss goes, so he's not gonna go to the like prison or anything. Like they clear that. He just starting from scratch. And Iran is taking care of him, and like leaves him whatever to go do something, and Boss like tries to overdose. He takes a ton of pills, and then he has like a fever dream hallucination something where he meets his like dead wife, who's like, no, not your time to go. Um,
Yeah.
um and so he survives. He goes into the hospital. Iran takes him there and whatever. Um, and then again, Save becomes the new boss of this area, picked by the Four Horsemen.
I don't get why they don't just take the land.
I think it's my guess is there's a lot of people like Boss who are in this like debt collector, like debt
Oh.
like boss role, for different areas, right? So it's just for this specific area. They have just somebody who basically reports back to them, right?
Okay.
So like I think Boss's boss was the Four Horsemen.
Okay, I
So,
see.
yeah. So because of that, then that means like Save now works for the Four Horsemen. But I
Mhm.
also the plan is to not be like boss, right? To do good, and not just fuck everyone. Um
Yeah.
and
I
like
wouldn't trust Save to do that, but sure, why not?
yeah, same. Um sure. Uh
I will never forgive him for Jenny.
right? So it's I do think it's the best case because the only other thing I could think is like them trying to convince Jack to do it, and Jack just wants to
Yeah.
open up his school, right?
Yeah, leave
Uh,
him be. Don't get him involved with this shit anymore. Like,
yeah, because
leave all of them be.
that would have been my guess. Honestly, is that they were like, Jack, you're gonna be the new boss, and then Jack has to be like, actually, no.
He's
Um,
like, no, I just opened my school.
yeah. So we do have another grand opening for the school, so we're trying again.
Hmm.
And of course everyone is there again, and Rose is mad at Nang for like her and all these people using Rose as a pawn. Um,
Hmm.
and but Rose's like, I'll forgive you if you like help me reform everything and we actually start doing good. And so Nang's like, sure, yes, I will.
Hmm.
Great. Um, so like, the Four Horsemen are still a problem, but they're like untouchable anyway. So at
Hmm.
least the people one step down are trying to do good. So, um, and then Joke made another stupid list of 100 ways to repay Jack. Repay Jack. And Jack is basically like, just stay with me is enough. Like you don't have to do anything else. And then, my heart, Jack pulls out two rings from his pocket. One is the Jack ring, right, from his debt thing that's got his thing, and the other one is the dupe that has Joker written on it. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
he gives he gives Joke the Jack ring, and he wears his own.
Uh-huh.
So now they're engaged.
Cute.
And then we end in another kiss scene, and everything's perfect and great and happy.
Yeah, I love that the series ends this way and there's no other episodes at all, and this is the final ending.
Yeah. So, about that, uh, if you know anything about the show, you know there was a special episode that came out a little while ago now, like towards the beginning of March, I think is when it came out. I don't remember anymore. Um, and I refused to watch it.
I
And Shy,
haven't
I think
watched
you,
it.
yeah. Um, I saw the back. So at first they, Yin and War, like rented out like 13 movie theaters and had a huge event for it, and like it all sold out. And so normally when they do stuff like that, they also air it like the same day. But I don't. I think it came out like a week later online. Um, for us to watch. And there was already a lot of drama around that because they waited till like last minute to tell us that international fans were going to be able to watch it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the hype behind all of it was set up like a wedding. Like that's how they promoted it. Was the wedding for Jack and Joke. So and then that's how special episodes are supposed to be, right? They're all
Yeah, it's
it's
supposed to be cute and fluffy.
yeah, very little drama and it's like meaningless drama, right? Like it's not,
Uh huh.
not life and death or anything. That is not what this was. The way people came out of that and the fact that Yin and War were doing fan service to appease people because of how bad the backlash was, like, are you kidding me?
I
Um,
know. I swear to God, if we don't get a season two, like,
yeah.
there has to be. You can't end it like that.
Yeah, so everything's been out for a few weeks now. Um, at one point, like War like walked past some fans. I was like, "Don't shoot the messenger." Basically, I wasn't the one that
Uh,
wrote the script of the special episode, because there's nothing happy and fluffy about this. It does not end well at all. Um, I will say so. I don't want to give spoilers on it. You guys can go watch it if you want. I'm until there's proof that there's another episode, like a second special episode or season two.
mm-hmm.
That doesn't exist to me. The show ends here.
Me
Um,
too.
I as much as I love Yin and War, this was not the move. the
No, I mean it sounds like it was kind of not their idea.
No, but also they were the ones funding this. You can't tell me they couldn't have put their foot down, right?
I don't know. I feel like it could be under whatever company
I
they're working for. I don't know. I mean, I get the feeling that this was not their idea.
I don't think it was their idea, but I do genuinely think they had enough power that if they wanted to say no, they would have said no. Um,
I don't know. I think it can be complicated with like
yeah, it's complicated,
contracts and
right?
television and
And like
stuff.
I
Especially if you're
still
not like writing the script and stuff.
yeah, I don't know. Like I still love Yin and War, right? Like I adore them. This is so frustrating because I just to promote it, it's one thing especially to promote it as like a wedding and then
Mm-hmm.
instead like especially so they didn't show everything in the movie theater either. So, um big time spoilers. There's a character death. Um the way it's set up in the movie theater and then there's online there's a another scene after that that's rolling with the credits where it shows that maybe it's not a character death. Um and that's why I won't watch it because I it doesn't have a happy ending.
I mean,
So,
it's definitely setting up for a season two.
it for
But
sure.
like, does this show need a season two even?
No, honestly, it would have been solid as a season like season 1 we covered everything. It got a
Uh,
little goofy there in parts, but it was fine because like the chemistry and like the characters and it was fine. Like it was one of those I didn't catch some of how stupid some of this stuff was until like the second watch. Like some of it like
yeah.
the ring
I
being
just,
powerful like we caught because we were like what, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I think this plus a special episode that was like a wedding,
Would have been
perfect.
great, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's something where either if they don't do a season two, like I assume the special episode was meant to try to get like funding and
Yeah,
stuff like for a season two. And I think if that ends up never coming to fruition, this was like a huge fumble.
I agree. I fully agree.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we get at least a second episode of the the special episode just for some
Yeah.
closure on that. Like that I can handle that because I'm sure they can wrap up whatever they had planned in an episode and just not have 12 episodes of drama.
Yeah.
Um
Special episode two.
yeah,
I'm fine
because
with. It just can't end there.
No, no, that's not. It's not a
That's
good
like
spot to
so.
end. Yeah,
That's like such a big like fu to fans.
yeah.
But
So
I mean, it is their story, whatever. But I will
yeah,
say in season 2, or if that happens or whatever happens, I want to see Tattoo and Iran become a thing because I
yes,
wanted it so like much during the whole show and it never happened. I was a
yeah.
little disappointed.
There was it was alluded pretty strongly, I think.
Uh
At the very end when they're all sitting around the table, I think. Um,
yeah.
because like towards the end before the grand opening of the school part 2, they're all sitting around like at a table like kind of hanging out. And it's kind of alluded a little bit there, but not very clearly. There's definitely room to like
Yeah.
grow that in a season 2. Um, I fear it's gonna be a while before we get a season 2 or anything if we do,
Uh huh.
just because of funding alone. Because
I mean, I'm not hopeful.
no, because Yin and War funded this themselves, right? So, um, Yin sold like his prized favorite dream car or whatever, and War like sunk a ton of money into this. And I know Yin has said he's still in like a ton of debt because of this now.
Yeah.
This was
I mean,
very
I'm
much a
thinking
passion
they
project.
probably had a lot of sponsors they had to answer to,
Yeah,
and that's why the special episode ended the way it did.
yeah. So I will say the actor that played Boss did tweet something about season 2 before the special episode got announced. So and like it was specifically season 2 and not special episode. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I will say I don't know if he's in the special episode or not because I don't. I think he is. I think he is, but um,
I don't know.
I
I
don't
won't
remember.
know. I'll
Yeah,
never know.
I mean I watched a couple clips because I was like I didn't understand when everything went down. I didn't understand what was happening when
Mhm.
everyone was like losing it on Twitter. Um,
Yeah.
but like you know it's bad when Yin and War give us fan service.
Yeah, right.
Yin is too busy policing us to give us fan service.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The show ended at episode 12 and not the special episode.
Mhm. And
Because
that's Jack and Joker.
yep. We actually waited to do this episode till after the stupid special episode.
Cuz we thought it was going to be good.
Yeah, and then didn't even watch it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no. Jack and Joker episodes 1 through 12 are fantastic. Even though,
Mhm.
we ragged on a little bit of it, but it was all in good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say
So,
the first half of the show is it's easy 10 for me, and then the second half I'd give maybe like a 8.5.
that's fair.
Yeah.
This whole show is a 10 for me, but that's just because I am obsessed with Joke. Um,
Yeah. I think overall I gave it like a 9.5. So
yeah. So I do love that we were like the entire time like with the ring thing going, why is this ring so important?
I
And,
know. I
and then
remember just messaging being like, I literally, like, did I miss something? Like, I don't understand why this stupid ring has so much power.
yeah, and
It
my
doesn't even look nice.
yeah, it's an ugly ring. But
Uh,
yeah,
there's
I
a lot
think
of rings in the show.
yeah. I'll say I do like the Jack and Joker ring, matching rings.
Me
Um
too. I think that's cute.
yeah. But but yeah, I don't know that I came up with like a good logical reason for like the ring being important. I think I just went rich people do weird shit.
Well, I think at that point I was like, okay, they're playing Monopoly. They're playing weird shoots and ladders. Like, this is just some other like weird shit that they're doing that doesn't make sense. But
Yeah, they care strongly about this ring.
hmm
So I wonder what would happen like if Joke just kept the ring for himself,
he's the new ringleader.
right? Like he's the new like four horsemen guy. Like that would have
Yeah,
screwed everything up.
they would have.
So, but yeah, I think that's it. What do you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
All right. Well, you can find us as usual on our socials on Instagram and TikTok at bl.in.the.air, on Twitter at blintheair, on Discord through the link in the link tree. And we are streaming video on Spotify and YouTube and audio everywhere you can listen. We'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.